Hello, I'm sitting here with Fleischkrieg, yeah, the power duo from LA, bringing you the best industrial metal. So, thank you very much.
I practiced this. You ready? Danke, dass Sie uns haben.
Oh, danke, dass Sie uns haben. Haben with the H. Haben.
I'm sorry. It's not Spanish where the H is silent. Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah, because otherwise it would it would sound like Abend, and Abend is the evening. So guten Abend is a yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No hablo español. This is not Spanish. Yeah, so thank you for having time for me. We have lots of things to talk about, some exciting news and some cool stuff happening with Fleischkrieg. So sorry, I'm still in the introduction phase. Just introduce yourself because some of my audience might not know you yet. This is, of course, ridiculous and I cannot understand it. But, can you just say who you are, what you do in the band, and then we just take it from there? Because, we are old friends, we are buddies. You guys were one of my very first people I talked to on my channel. So, I'm forever grateful in your debt anyway. So please introduce yourself and say who you are. And just say who you are and what you're doing, and then we take it from there.
I'm Thomas Crawford, sometimes nicknamed Tom Ass. I'm the guitar player for Fleischkrieg, also known as Seraphim. I've got my own solo industrial instrumental project called Seraphim, which is how we ended up meeting. What? You've got your own mug?
I have original Fleischkrieg mug.
Wow! Did you make that? That's cool.
I made that. I have a special mug where I can write whatever I want to on it. It's
you made me feel very special for a short period of time.
No, you are special a little bit longer, like 5 seconds longer.
That's all. We'll stretch out the special however long we can.
Yeah.
My name is Richard Crainer. I'm the singer. I do a lot of the arranging, and I'm a Gemini. And I'm also a tiger. And
you got some tiger blood in you. Tiger blood.
Little bit of tiger blood. Yeah.
And he's winning.
I'm trying to. Speaking of winning, there's a video I saw on YouTube of Charlie Sheen walking through a Taco Bell in L.A. drive-through late at night, and he was like high-fiving people. That's winning right there.
Yeah. Sounds like my 20s.
I know. He's like 50-something. So, fuck it.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to cuss? I forgot if we're allowed to cuss.
Of course. Yeah, no. This is not... YouTube doesn't like it if we talk about drugs. So maybe Martin Sheen is off now.
Okay. Yeah, we'll lay off the Sheen.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what's interesting? I hung out with Charlie Sheen's uncle one night at a Sizzlers in LA. It was the most random, weird night. I met with me and some other people got together in the film business, and we were all at a Sizzler. So like, imagine like E and not B-list actors or C-list actors or D-list actors, but like a rung down from there.
Z-list actors.
The Z-list.
That's who we were. And I remember the bill came. This is a Sizzlers, mind you, and the bill came for 20-something, maybe 30-something dollars, and there was a bit of like a issue, like who's gonna pay for the butter toast that someone ordered extra.
In the beginning of Reservoir Dogs, like who's gonna pay, who's not chip in, Mr. Pink.
That's so funny. You're right. I forgot all about that. I literally lived that moment. Not as violent. It didn't end as violently as it did.
I hope so.
No. It was like, my buddy forked out the $3, the $4 that needed to cover the butter toast. But I just remember hanging out with a Sheen going, you guys can't cover a butter toast extras. You're a Sheen, right? Like, I don't know. It's Hollywood for you.
Yeah, they're sheen bastards. It seems like. No,
It's a weird bunch, right?
cheap bastards. Yeah, it doesn't really work. Like, I like wordplays like she. Okay, it didn't really work that well.
The fact that you're doing it in another language is impressive. The attempt is there.
Did I tell you? I was so proud the first time I made a joke in English. Did I tell you that?
Oh, no.
So there was I was living in Maryland in Silver Springs in Maryland, so close to Washington D.C. And I was living with two host dads. We were a gay couple, really cool dudes, and we were driving one day, and he was telling me, I just read an article about glue, because glue is in everything. The car seat needs glue, and this needs glue, and this needs glue. And I was like, and I have no clue who's the main manufacturer of glue. And I was so proud with the clue thing, Yeah, okay, it's not that great, I know. But for me, it was like the first time I made a joke in English.
Yeah.
And I like wordplays. Yeah, it's I know it's not the great. Yeah, you don't have to laugh, but for me it was just because in German, I guess your German is not that good yet. I like a lot of wordplays and stuff, and I mean, I guess we share the love of Rammstein, and their songs are, sometimes they're just very placative or very okay, but sometimes they have some deeper meanings or even second meanings and triple meanings, and I really like that you don't really know what we are talking about. You can hear it, but there's some meta themes in it and stuff, and some ways how you can say it, and like, I mean, the most obvious example is du hast. It means just du hast could if you hate. Or what we later reveal, it's like you have, and it's kind of, I like so the humor is quite my taste, and as you know, we know each other for a while now. I have lived abroad for a while, so for me it was kind of I never was a big Rammstein fan back in Germany, as I lived in Germany, but when you are abroad and you're in the discotheque, and there comes a Rammstein song, and you hear German, and it was like, since then I really love Rammstein, because it's kind of, for me, it's home away from home, it's kind of like I like the style anyway, this is and the theatrics and. Okay, now, sorry, I realize that I'm talking a lot about me, but we're going to talk about Fleischkrieg, of course. And there is something new coming up there. There's something on the horizon that slowly peeks through the curtain. So, what do you want to tell us? Please let
first
me
of all,
know.
I think we're going to hire you to do a children's audiobook.
I have a story for you. I once was I was tasked. It's like 20 years ago. I was tasked to put a child to sleep from a friend of mine, and I realized I was so. I needed to read a children's story, and I was so bored. I was really young back then. So I kind of made it more interesting for me. And I was like, so the witch comes around, and she looks at you, and she slowly bites into the rabbit's neck, and... so it was fun for me, but the child didn't sleep for whatever reason. It didn't really work. I cannot imagine why. I was so good. I was such a good performance. I think, you would sleep in a jiffy. But yeah, so thank you. Yeah,
I love it.
I should maybe not do that.
We both have a love for your voice and your timbre. That's why we invited you to do some audio stuff for us. But
I'm very honored.
I'm always trying to.
We're always trying to copy
imitate.
You. Yeah,
we're all
trying. Yeah. We've got to. We're going to have to try more because we are. There's been several people who've asked us. Oh, I thought you were German. Mm-hmm. And then we have to explain. Well, we're not really German. We just like German stuff. And then they're like, "Well, you're a poser."
We're not German. We've just played on.
But we're trying to sound German.
That's more Austrian. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's more Austrian.
I think I told you this. As I was in the United States, and a lot of people came to me. Of course I have a German accent, and then speak German, and I didn't realize that German is so harsh for your ears because I grew up in the Russian zone. For me, Russian was very harsh. I will break you. I will break you. I will drago. For me, this was the harsh thing. And when we say, there was some Saturday night skit on. With Hans and
Hans and Franz.
Yeah, exactly. And they always kind of told, we will pump you up. And I never saw it. And they say it. And I was like, what should I say? We will pump you up. And and I what? And then I heard Arnold, I'll be back. Yes. I don't know what. Yeah, exactly. Run to the chopper. It will bleed so we can kill it. I don't know how we really say it. I have to.
My favorite is Conan. What is best in life?
To crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women.
Yes, exactly. And the lamenting of the women.
That word itself is ridiculous and funny just to have it. I don't know how he even said it. Because he was barely an English speaker back then.
Exactly. I guess you have seen also what was it? He called himself Arnold Strong, and then Olympus in New York. No, what was Hercules in New York. It was so stupid and ridiculous, but it was just this hulking monster thing, and
That's how it started.
But I mean. This is exactly the thing. You can laugh about him or whatever. I mean, he became governor. He achieved a lot.
He became the governor.
The governor, right?
The governor of California.
From California.
Mandate 1 more hour in the day for 1 more hour of working out. It'll be called 25-hour fitness.
Because 24 hours is not enough to worry about your fitness. You need another hour, maybe 2.
Which was quite good. This is quite good. It's a good impression.
I used to do it almost. I almost became a professional Arnold impersonator back in the day. The trick to Arnold is learning how to yell it. You have to be like, "Hey, right," or "Screw you, Benny." You have to do that. But you can't yell Arnold all day long. People get pretty upset if you're always yelling. That was the trick with Arnold.
Screw you. The hell with you.
This is, I don't want to venture into this territory because, it's a little bit landmined because there's another Austrian who kind of dabbled in history a little bit, and he was yelling a lot. And, it's like...
He was a chronic yeller.
Exactly, and you only can do Hitler impressions if you yell. It's a kind of. But I cannot really, I have to listen to. I don't want. Let's not go there. Let's go back to what we were talking about because there is something on the horizon. So get to the chopper and go to the horizon and tell us what is in store for all the Fleischkrieg fans out there.
Well, we got a single we're releasing on the 30th called Fool's Folly, and we have a video that we just did. Yes.
Wow, what a novel concept. Wow.
Yeah.
And you as a filmmaker making a video, who would have ever kind of seen this coming?
I did. I did see it coming.
But I mean, you're in the inner circle. You're in the inner
Yeah,
circle of, so you don't really count.
With Fool's Folly. It's the first single off of our album, Herzblut.
An album name that you came up with?
Yeah,
I
based off
remember.
of
I remember.
Yeah.
Herzblut, gib mir dein Herzblut.
That's the intro song, actually. Is you coming on the audio doing that, and then we have some background music. So it's actually made for a really great intro to the album. And plus, you're backing me up on that actual song too.
Thank you very much. No, it's really cool. Will there be also? We have. Let's maybe structure it a little bit, because I think we can jump all over because we were on the new Apocalypse tour, and I heard some of the songs which will come up, I'm pretty sure, and there was also a cover from Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and but anyway. Maybe let's focus one thing after another before we trail off again. So, Fool's Folly. Because I'm a blessed inner circle member, not member, but of Fleischkrieg. I already saw it. And it's of course, I mean, you're a filmmaker, Rich, so I know where it comes from. It's surprisingly colorful. That's what I noticed first, and nice set pieces and mask and stuff. I personally have, as I'm an actor as well, I have a little aversion against masks, because you cannot play as much as you with your whole face. It's kind of your canvas, but. You are in the video, and I was surprised that you play very well with a mask, because your eyes are visible, and then the lower, the jawbone, the important things. Exactly. I let it out, man. And
that character actually has a name.
The character.
Really?
My name is Scary.
Scary.
I live in the forest. It's a great forest.
This sounds a
I
little
made
bit.
friends with the squirrel yesterday. I didn't bite its head off. I actually just made friends with it. It was fascinating.
Is it Irish?
It's just Celtic.
Celtic.
It's Celtic.
It's a little Celtic. A little bit Sean Connery.
It's a little bit Sean
with
Connery.
A little bit more
Slobbery Sean Connery.
with
a taste, with a little bit of Gandalf.
Ian McKellen.
Yes, Ian.
It's a little bit of that.
And Tony Robbins. I found this book in the woods written by Tony Robbins. It changed my life. I stopped eating everything. I'm mostly plant-based. Sometimes I'll still bite the head off a cow.
Yeah, and then I have bunnies,
And bunnies, because bunnies are evil.
Not squirrel.
But squirrels are different. I'm indifferent to squirrels. So I appreciate you saying that, because when me and Thomas were talking about this, I was like, oh shit, this is our first video. I want it to be something that's memorable. I want it to kind of set the tone for what, and Fleischkrieg is still kind of a big work in progress. I like a lot of different stuff. Thomas likes a lot of different stuff, but I've always loved that sort of darker medieval fantasy, gothy kind of world. And here we are with limited budgets trying to make something work. And the first thing I did is I recommend all filmmakers do this. Just if you want your production design to have a chance at really succeeding, like going on Etsy and just looking at stuff on Etsy sometimes, looking at some of these custom pieces that people make. And once I saw the character that I was going to play, and then I saw a couple others, and then I thought about it. I was like, well, what's the song about? The song is actually about one thing. The video is actually about another, probably at this point. But but it's basically about the inner workings of
love and eros mixed with some of the pathology of it all, how it doesn't always really work out, and repressed desire and animal instincts and all this other kind of stuff. But it just kind of came together, and I mean, at the end of the day, I just wanted something that looked good on a low budget, and looked like you're in that world. We created that world really with Etsy, Home Depot, some hardware store runs, and a trip to the park that we live by, which we'll get into later. This park, Megamodash, was an interesting park. It happened to be, again, nothing against. Should I say it? I mean, it was basically a massive gay cruising park, which we didn't really know.
Oh,
so
hello.
Oh, it was like
so
it was,
yeah.
It was a little awkward. Like it seemed innocent, but then like there were lots of them coming from different directions.
Right.
All of them holding their phone, looking for like
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
So we referred to it now as Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go. Okay, got it.
Well, and the awkward thing was like that's fine, no, but like here we are. I'm dressed in that outfit, carrying that mace or that flail with the 3 spikes. So look, and he's standing.
You looked very interesting.
Right,
Juicy man with a mace. Flay me.
Yeah, it got kind of weird. Like we were like, oh shit, we stepped into something here. We didn't realize we were getting a whole world that we were.
I've never seen so many used condom wrappers.
I mean,
in public in my life. Like I literally counted 5 different wrappers of condoms in a park.
It's very popular destination.
Very weird. There was one point where we were doing his scenes dressed as Gary, and he was trying to get his camera set up. It was like he was having some technical issues. I'm holding the flail, and I'm just sitting there like holding it next to a tree, and this dude starts walking by, and he sees me, and he stops. I'm like, oh, it's okay, man. Come on. Like, just come on through. And he just stopped, and he literally backstepped and just turned around and went away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's his deal? And then I looked, I was like, oh, I've got a medieval weapon in my hand telling him to come at me. So
it's nothing against whatever cruising you want to do. It's just, it was a weird thing where we walked into something dressed as what we were dressed. When you see the video, you understand why. And then it got really awkward because they were doing their own thing. And they were totally fine. We walked into it, and it was like, wait a second, like we've stepped into this thing, and now they're looking at us going, what are you guys doing here? Like, what are you? Oh, so you're into that?
Oh, yeah.
You're into that kind of thing. Like, oh, no, we're just trying to make a video. What kind of video? And then when he got the blood on his face, I had totally forgot that we still had to trek through the woods back to the car, and he was covered in blood. And like, again, this is a park in L.A. LA's can be a little bit rough. And seeing someone covered in blood in L.A. is actually kind of common. So
we get up in this really weird place in the park, in the woods, and I'm getting into character. I've got this fake anatomical heart, some fake blood, and he's like, pour the fake blood on your hands all over it, work it in there, work it up your arms, whatever. And I was working it in, and something flipped in me to where I went to a different place.
Yeah.
I was enjoying it a little too much, and he just started filming me, and he's seeing me work it in there, and and I confirmed, like, you're filming, right? He's like, yeah, and I just went and just smeared it all down my face, and I was just like engorged with this, and we're filming for about 5 minutes of me, just playing with fake blood, which tastes like candy and peppermint. Mm-hmm. It's really weird. So I'm like a freaking kid over this. And after about 5 minutes, he goes, dude, we got to go. He's like, we've got to get out of here. And I'm like, why? And he's like, people starting to come around, and you look like you just killed somebody. Yeah. So he's walking about 20, 30 feet from me. And he just, I just keep hearing him go, don't be alarmed. We're just filming. It's fake. And you just see these people like, oh, okay. Yeah. So they just see this demon looking dude covered in blood just walking through the park.
Yeah. So so you thought that my performance was pretty good, even with the mask? Oh, thank you.
Because
as a fellow actor.
What I said, I usually don't like masks so much because, but you got a mask, a full face covering mask is kind of dead because you need to play with your body, and it's possible. I mean, it's still when it's really. Anyway, it's possible, but you know, you play mostly with your face. You know, what's what you learn when you play Shakespeare or whatever. You know, when it's kind of like, be Hamlet, be, you know, Toby or not Toby. That's the question. You see, another joke.
That's a word joke in another language right there. That totally works.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Totally.
Thank you. What do I want to say?
Well,
you know, for me, it reminded me a little bit. First of all, I've seen the video, so full disclaimer, and you cut it quite well because none of the gay people and condom rappers are around. So you either, you know, cut out a lot of stuff, or you kind of very creative with the camera, and you know, even. We're talking about you, but you have seen the video we did for Danke, you know, and it was kind of similar in this regard, that this was a public place because there was so much snow we couldn't go anywhere. We don't have a car, you know. There's no way we could go into the mountains and be a little bit secluded. And so we had to be very creative with our filming because there was a lot of people going by. And
wow!
But fortunately for us. Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of movie fake blood as well, but nobody really cared. It was like, you know, it was like, you know.
It's like any other snowball fight in Germany. It always ends bloody. So.
Exactly.
Right.
Only the strongest survive. Yes. If you make it to the age of 18, you are finally, you know, we will anyway, I have embrace you exactly. When you got your sword and your weapon, and when you have to kind of can defend yourself.
That's right, and kill 10 bunnies.
At least 10, and you bite the head off of them, you know, and you sharpen your teeth with, you know, anyway. so it just reminded me, you know, because it was also in a public place, but not so many gay people around, you know, nothing against gay people, but, you know, we weren't around. And we like manly men in Germany.
we were just worried that, you know, like I when I was walking barefoot, I was like, man, I don't want to step on a used condom. You know, I just didn't want to step on a used rubber. I just didn't want to do that. That was my only thing. And I was like, I almost want to say, guys, just get a big like 10-man tent and just find like one spot and just do your thing. But like we couldn't film anything. We were trying to film, and there was always somebody walking by. It was like, Jesus Christ, we can't. I didn't expect there to be so much traffic. That was the thing that got me, because it was an isolated area that I thought we had all to ourselves. And like next thing you know, there's a big old party happening there. It's like, wow. For swinging to Donka, you literally that's like right in the middle of a park somewhere, or what's the?
No, it was a little bit away, but there was a main road and a lot of passers by, you know.
Really?
And as we are in lockdown here in Germany, he cut it quite well, you know. The other guy who's in the video, that's Max, and he kind of cut because you know, I really suck at cutting. I know how to put, you know, there's a camera and then I can kind of perform, but you know, cutting is not my strength. I hate it.
Did you have a drone shot too? Like there was a drone shot or something. Stock,
exactly.
Well, no, we do it too.
A stock drone. Yeah, exactly.
Whatever works. Whatever gets it done. Because it was seamless. It was seamless.
He did it quite well. Yeah, you know, so I'm really happy to have him. So shout out to Max. So we love developing another project. So let's see where this will go. At the moment, I have to admit I kind of have to hunker down a little bit because there's too much going on, and I don't know where to start. You know, first, right. But I mean,
we love Donka. We listen to it in the car all the time.
So it is literally the second song on Fleischkrieg's playlist.
It's on our playlist.
Cool, thank you.
Spotify.
Yeah, we love that song.
When we were doing the New Apocalypse tour, like I got super excited every time that song come on for the video.
Yeah, the video's fun.
And even like in between, even like because the tour went on for 3 days.
Yeah.
But in 2 different times or 5 different time zones. So we would do a full concert and then there would be a couple hours break and we would do another one. And I'm not kidding you, in between the concerts, I would open up YouTube on my TV and play Danke, to the point that like by Saturday of the tour, my wife was like, "Are you fucking serious? You're playing that song again? Like, come on." I was like, it's so good. I love it.
Thank you very much. I can just say danke.
Yeah. Oh, it's empty. You want me to go get the red?
No, I got some
vodka.
No, I got vodka. I'll have this. I'm just gonna grab a little thing of vodka.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just grabbing I'm gonna grab like a little shot of vodka here.
Yeah, no problem. But by the way, while we're on the subject, so first of all, thank you very much for inviting me on the tour. It was my kind of a first really appearance of Megamodash, and I did it with King Sinister also. So there's some other stuff in there as well. So how was the tour? I mean, if you want to talk about, I mean, if it's a touchy subject or something, but I think it did pretty well. And for me, I discovered a lot of really cool bands. So thank you for that, because you said in the beginning I did a lot of talks, and I talked with almost everyone on the you had on the tour. I'm missing a few still, but I maybe later I get to them. But I talked with Rabbit Junkie. I talked with Dead Meat Assembly Plant.
Oh, Dead Meat Assembly Plant.
And don't forget Manifestive. Manifestive, they will open for Ministry in October. So I mean, we're going. You got a great lineup.
Oh.
So anyway, so how. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it a little bit, because I mean you were the brains behind it and the organizers, so you did very well. It was cool that it worked out so well. And so how was the response? What was the aftermath, the fallout of the new Apocalypse tour?
It was. It was good. I mean, it was kind of like the weird, kind of the backstory of it. I really miss playing live shows, and like we were at the finishing touches of what we were doing. We had just gotten in touch with a drummer who is now like we had him. He played the show with us. He's also in the video. His name is Nick Mason. He also goes by Living Dead Drummer. He's a hired gun like that. Mm-hmm. He is a professional drummer that does recordings. He goes on tours. Like, he's not a band member he's not like one of the. He is like, no, you pay me to be here, and I will play your music for you however you want, and I will do amazing. And he is amazing. I was in the middle of talking with him and was talking about the possibility of doing like virtual shows, because the pandemic was at this really weird, desperate time. Deaths and cases were at an all-time high. So we didn't know when anything was going to get back to resembling normal. So had this idea of doing like, a lot of people were doing streaming events, but it was like single bands doing one-time things. And it was, 3 songs here, 10 songs there, or like do the Facebook Live thing or whatever. But what I missed was the tours. I missed touring bands. I missed opening up for bands that were touring and things like that. And I was like, I don't see that. We should do something like that. And I got in touch with a couple of people that I had played music with in some fashion or another in Seattle before we moved down here to LA. So got in touch with Nuda. She's from DK0. I'd played a show with them prior to the pandemic. And then also got in touch with Cryptamnesia ticker from there. And we had this idea of like, we were going to do this tour and then we were going to do it with 5 different time zones across a number of days. And then had the idea of actually having local openers, which was where you came involved. And yeah, so it was a lot of, it didn't go as originally planned. Like originally it was going to be completely live. The only pre-recorded stuff would be from the local bands that we contacted, but we were going to be at a single location, and we were going to live stream it as if it was an actual concert. Have these intermissions. One band would come off the stage, another one would come on, so on. And then, like 2 to 3 weeks before the concert was supposed to happen, things started opening up, and the location that we had booked for the venue was also a restaurant. And they just started opening things up, and basically we put them in a weird situation where they booked us under contingent of it being a private event, enclosed, and basically we decided, you know what, let's all just do pre-recordings of the different locations and save us a bunch of money and whatnot. But overall, like the experience was great. In the end, like the people in the bands, we all became really good friends. Like we were acquaintances before. Now we're like really, really close friends. We chat on a regular basis. We still, we've got an open chat group that we're constantly texting and messaging with each other on a daily basis. We're actually getting ready to start discussing doing an actual live tour, like what that could look like, given that things are starting to open up here in the States. We haven't formally sat down and like, okay, this is what we're going to do. These are the dates. Like things are still a little iffy there, but we are seriously considering doing like some type of regional tour or something with as the group ahead of time. But yeah, aside from that, that's kind of been the response. We've all had like a lot of really good footage from that we're all kind of recycling in some fashion or another. We're talking about possibly releasing like a live-ish album based off of what we did, even though it wasn't technically a live concert. It was a pre-recorded type of concert, but the recording that we got from that, the audio from it, was really good. So we're thinking about maybe doing some type of release with that music. We've started releasing a couple of the songs, like a couple of videos from that. We did, what was it, Relax?
Relax.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, as you said, we do.
Yeah, I think I put it in my playlist even. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I put it in my video playlist.
We do have that. We weren't 100% certain if we would able to release Relax, but got it all squared away. At some point, we're going to do an actual like proper music video. It will be one of the singles prior to the album releasing and things like that. But yeah,
overall the tour went pretty well. Technically, there wasn't like any big glitches. A lot of the bands that we got were cool, and it looked pretty good overall. It was an experiment that didn't fail, which we were happy that it didn't fail, and it made some money. It got a lot of people a chance, some networking, and showed off a lot of people's creativity. And it was considering we're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic and all that, I felt like I was stressed about it really before because there was so many moving parts to trying to get that stage in Van Nuys. We rented a stage here, and it just took a long time. And the lighting show, I was working on that lighting show a week before we did the damn show. I mean, technical problems. I had to go buy a new laptop. Long story short, it kind of helped us all gel better as a band and as a group of people trying to make music. So I feel like that it was kind of like a boot camp in a way to get Fleischkrieg's kind of mojo figured out and get its direction going and getting other people's stuff going. And, we're hoping now we can start doing live shows, but even if we can't, we at least know our lighting show. We at least know how to film things. We can kind of use it as a bootstrap to get
as a template or something,
as
something And this is exactly what I also, I'm really grateful once again that I was part of it. And for me, with a video podcast, what we're doing right now, this is exactly what you did with a tour, to connect like-minded persons and to kind of see what's gonna happen and I really liked that, and for me this is one of the reasons why I do that, because I feel like I have friends now all over the place. I consider you my friends, so
Absolutely,
and
totally.
this is cool, and whoever I talk to, I can say, and and with the first few people I talked to on my video podcast, I went on tour, on a virtual tour then, and I met other people, and now kind of. For me, like that's why I mentioned Manifestive. You put them out, and they have a video, and it was strange, cool music, and I talked with them now, and then now we're opening for ministry. It's kind of like, I feel like I'm part of a bigger whole movement. I know this is our bubble, our industrial bubble, or however you want to call it, but it's cool. I'm in it, and I like this friendly vibe. This is not like, the typical rock and roll thing. I'm better than you, and you suck, and it's kind of like, no, this one I like better than that one, and whatever. But it's kind of like we're all in this together, and I really like this. I don't know, this. It's not a grassroots movement, but we are. You never know what happens, when things are opening up and you get the opportunity to come to Europe. I'm pretty sure we will meet one day, and this will be so cool. And I don't know what. You never know what happens, but what I really like, and this is maybe my closing statement here, is we are doing things. I mean, you did this tour, and you, like you said, there was a lot of weight on your shoulders, and did it really work out? But you did something. So you put a lot of people on the map, because they kind of were found through that, and I found them, and I talked with not that I'm a big player or something, but things happen for the people who do something. If you're like. I hate these people who are like, I could do so much, and so do it, fail and fail again and fail better, and this is the thing I get, it could have went disastrous and whatever, but I mean, when you could say,
but what's the learning? What did you
exactly,
learn?
what's the learning? And you could have said, this was the apocalypse tour. What do you expect? Apocalypse is kind of failing, right? And so. No, but the thing is, you have you do it. That's what I wanted. You have a do it yourself attitude, and not wait for somebody to kind of now things are perfect, because things are never perfect. You always have to work for things, and you have to make it happen and make it your own. Exactly, adapt. Exactly.
There's a famous quote from an American general that a good plan executed with audacity is far better than a fantastic plan that no one ever pulls the trigger on, because you're too busy waiting for the right things to happen. Whereas if you just have a good plan, you go for it. I mean, I give a lot of credit to Thomas. Thomas was the one who really pushed it. I was nervous the whole time. It was not going to work, and all this other stuff was coming up, but it did. And the thing about like our little niche, it's kind of cool, because people in this niche that we're in of industrial metal tend to be a little bit they tend to be mostly tech savvy. They tend to be very particular and very interested in the music. They're very devoted to what it means. And so when you combine tech savvy with that kind of passion, and everybody gets to be a node in the network, it doesn't matter how big your node is. I mean, we got big nodes, let's be honest, right? I got a big node. You have a big node?
I've got
my node might be bigger than everyone's, right? I don't know. I haven't seen your node yet.
No comment from my side.
But when you allow people a chance to be a node in this network, their star shines, because they're happy to be participating, and it's not about competition, which is what I really love about this. Like, we're not trying to be the next whatever. It's like, no, we like the music, we're passionate about what we do. Here's our chance to do it. If you like it, great. But if everybody gets a chance to be seen and elevated a little bit, it's fun. Like, it's a genuine thing, right?
This is Okay, this is so. But anyway, we are friends here. So because
Yeah.
it's not really related to, it's related to what we're talking about. Because I realized something. I'm working for a tech company for an IT thing, and we have somebody who takes care of our social media. And we were discussing about social media, and she was saying that she can clearly see if some of the social media influencers trying to, not trying, but working the algorithm. So they get a lot of views and a lot of things and whatever. But we're kind of doing it to please the algorithm. And I realized, I don't fucking, and this is my program, so I can swear, I don't fucking care about the algorithm. Care about the people. And I know what I'm doing because as I started this program, a lot of people told me, "Oh, Tobias, who's gonna watch a 2 hour long or an hour long talk with people and stuff?" And I would like to. I'm interested. If I'm interested in the people, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna put it on my headphones and I'm gonna hang on the laundry and stuff and do things. Cooking or whatever. So I'm interested in that. So I don't fucking care if somebody sees something in it or if it's algorithm wise and I have to upload it. Like I told you, we upload this video on Monday because I heard somebody told me it's a good day to do.
Good
but
day to do
what
it,
the fuck? We can do it. The point is, you should do it for the love of it, and not for, okay, this gets me this many clicks or clickbaiting things or whatever. Because people sooner or later will find out that if you love it and you really mean it, the honesty will be in there, You can always get a few people with some clickbaity stuff, but we are not really interested in what you're doing. And I rather have people who are interested in what I'm doing and really come here for the right reasons. So I don't care if I have 1,000 followers or whoever. It depends on the people. Just get here if you like it. And if you don't like it, don't subscribe, don't like it or whatever. Come here for the right reasons, and this is what I see with the community you're building here, kind of. And I have a big note.
You do. Well, we know you. We know you do. We know. The algorithms have told us. That's one thing I listen to the algorithms about. No, that's one of the other benefits in a way of being sort of in a niche or a genre where you're not trying to compete with top 40. You're just people who love this, who gravitate towards this stuff, do it because they want to. And so I remember looking at the chat box and seeing 100 people on there. Go, wow, we got 100 people watching. It's all. I mean, that's all I need. I'm happy with whoever shows up, right? So there's a actor. Well, everybody knows this guy, Rutger Hauer. Ever heard of Rutger Hauer?
Oh, of course, yeah. Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner.
Blind Fury as well.
Blind Fury, right?
Okay.
Well, he started out as I think he was a traveling Shakespearean actor. He would go to villages and little towns in Denmark, wherever he's from. I forgot where he's from. Maybe it's Holland. He's from Holland, sorry. He would travel with a little group of actors, theater actors, and they would just do little shows for people. And it was like a community experience. That's all. They didn't need algorithms. They didn't need likes. They were just doing it for the sake of being with other people and expressing that stuff. And I think that's where the real power of whatever it is that we're doing resides. You can do all the social media marketing you want, but it doesn't, if what you're sharing is shallow or it's just an attempt to get followers, who cares? It doesn't mean anything. So we're trying to live in that world where we blend the opportunities you get to connect with people around the world, because industrial music is not something where everyone in the United States is trying to go out and listen to, but the people who do like it sort of share very similar aesthetics, values, desires, wants creatively. And so if you use the technology to help ferment that and connect that, be the nodes. But the rest of it, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm older, but I look at some of these kids who are obsessing about how many likes they get and stuff. I'm just man, who cares? They're doing anything for a like. And it's wow, you've lost track of what Rutger Hauer and a lot of these in the old school were doing, for the sake of just doing something. And the only thing there is just how do you get better at doing that and use the technology to share it. But you don't try to supplement for what you're deficient in or not getting with technology. That's where it doesn't work. So, that's kind of how we're trying to structure things like Fool's Folly, all the stuff we're doing, all the stuff you're doing. It's like it's our best attempt to make some art and be creative, and then we're going to leverage the technology for the sake of sharing it with others and them too. But other than that, I don't really care about technology, to be honest.
Exactly, and this comes back now that things are opening up for you again, because I think your big strength is really in the live performance. This was kind of what started me with a video podcast, because I was like, honestly, I'm not a good musician. I mean, I'm not fishing for compliments here. I know my limitations. Let's put it this way. I can sing a little bit and I can do a little bit, but where I really can shine is performance. Because I, in German, you would call a Rampensau. I would be a stage pig. So translation.
Yeah.
I love to be on stage and to feel what's going on. I did a lot of acting and stuff. And so this is my strength, where I can really mesmerize people, and I'm just, I don't even have to do much. As I was playing in this grindcore band, I was playing bass, and just,
I can imagine you playing a grindcore
topless and just, being there and doing my thing, and it was just like it worked really well, So you don't have to say anything, like I said to you, with a mask, your eyes are still visible, and this is cool. You can still play with them, and it works very well. Anyway, my point is, now you get to the place where you can really play out your strength. I mean, you are very lucky that you have Rich Thomas. Because he is a media connoisseur. He's a video maker, a filmmaker. Yeah. So he has an eye for that, and this really shows in the video for Fool's Folly as well, of course. I have to admit, for me, I didn't get a really congruent story, but I didn't care because it was so interesting, and the set pieces were very well done. And this is, I hate videos when it's hate is the wrong word. It's a strong word for it. If it's just a band, on stage and they get filmed, like, okay, then I would rather say, of course, we are in a pandemic, whatever, I would want to see them live, and then I can enjoy that. But if you just film what I would see if I gonna go there live, and then it's kind of not the same. So I really like videos with a story and thing. And I have to admit, I didn't really get the story. I was like, okay, there's a bad guy, and another girl, and with a mask, and so. But I didn't care because it was well done, and it was just a feast for the eyes. It was nice to take in, and this is all I need. This reminded me a little bit. In the past, back then, when the world was not in pause mode,
Right.
and I came home from dancing in the discotheque or whatever, and I would turn on the TV to get down a little bit, and then there came these French movies, and I don't remember the movies, but I remember we were so colorful and nice and just gorgeous to look at, and this is what it reminded me. I don't really get it, but it doesn't matter, because there is I can see there is a metaphysical element in it, and it grabs me. This is what I got.
But that's the thing that I think that I was lucky at, is that so David Lynch is somebody that I like his films quite a bit. I like more about what he says is so for making films the David Lynch style, you're trying to get into the unconscious of what you're trying to do. Now the problem is that's where the good stuff is. That's where the stuff is that will hook people emotionally. The problem is when you try to play it out in a linear, makes sense way, you sometimes run into trouble. Now, we were up against a couple of things. One, we don't have a lot of time. We don't have a lot of money. So I went full David Lynch to get into the world, and then we tried to piece the story in the edit. That's why it probably doesn't make 100% sense. If you want to, so there's two takes on what the story is about. The first take is it's about Red Riding Hood's inner turmoil over wanting to peg her village neighbors.
You should have brought that up after the fact.
Oh, should I brought that up after the fact?
You ruined the joke.
I ruined the joke.
You ruined the,
Okay. The other take is just about the struggle of so the whole story of the Fool's Folly song is based upon a really bad Bumble date that I went on last year.
So bad.
It was one of those dates where I met this beautiful woman who was just gorgeous.
It doesn't sound so bad, so.
No, it was wonderful.
Give
wonderful,
it time, buddy.
wonderful.
Okay.
So she was a Trump supporter.
Oh,
there you go.
Well,
which made it,
you know,
which made it more fun.
like, shut up and close your eyes and take off your clothes and I don't know.
Yeah, well, she loved smoking weed too. So we met, and within 15 minutes, again, that gives you an insight.
Strange. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to bash on her. I don't know her, so whatever.
No. Well, what she was is that she was this gorgeous woman, and then she didn't leave my house for like 3 days. So she kept giving me marijuana, and we kept smoking it, and I was just smoking it, and I didn't care. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna live it up. But then by the third day, I kind of realized, wow, I think she's using marijuana to hide her darkness, which started to come out. And I started going,
I have a story like this too.
Do you have a story? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad for her because she was such a beautiful person on the outside, and she was actually a beautiful person on the inside, but she had this horrific anger that
she was numbing herself so that she doesn't have to deal with certain things she doesn't want to deal with. I get it.
Yeah. And so it basically, and I've got this ongoing issue with dating and stuff in general where my issues come out too. So the whole Fool's Folly and the movie or the video was really about how like people bring into their relationships a lot of hidden pathology and pain
and old baggage. It's you get damaged goods kind of things.
And everybody's sort of guilty of it to some degree. I don't think anyone's perfect in any way.
No, I'm perfect, but this is of
course.
There's you. I'm German, this is I'm the exception. This is I'm the measurement you can scale against how damaged you are.
That is the gold standard.
I'm the gold standard, exactly.
Yeah.
He's very golden right now with the way he looks.
Yeah,
this
is the sun. I can.
That's not even. No, that's just your golden light.
Exactly.
Showing.
That's the golden. I'm a golden boy. I'm a golden boy. Oh. Yeah, exactly. My natural complexion.
The reason why the song probably, but I hope maybe more people will watch it. Maybe some people will get it. Like there's a little. It's Red Riding Hood getting ambushed in the woods by different forces, whether they're inside her head or whether they're real, and she turns the tables, and it's. Basically, it's all about the polarity of masculinity and femininity playing out in ways that are sometimes detrimental to each other, but ultimately they need each other in order to really work in this world. So I don't know. I'm a David Lynch fan, not necessarily all of his movies, but a couple of his movies I love a lot. I love Dune, and I love what's the one with the two girls that are always going at it?
Drive, something with a drive. Mulholland Drive.
Right. Yeah. I like that one a lot too. But I've always respected his ability to tap in and create a world. So I feel like Fool's Folly, the world, for a very little budget, we managed to create a world with Etsy and Home Depot.
Without any wrappers of something. Yeah. So go ahead.
The original. So when we were listening to the final mix of Fool's Folly, and I've got to be honest, the first time I heard Fool's Folly,
he didn't like it.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it.
And I put guitar stuff to it, and it was like, oh, okay, it's kind of nice. And then it started to grow on me, but then when I heard the final mix, I like the hair on my arms was standing up, and I was like, this song is great. This has to be the first single. And it's one. I mean, we put it as the second song in our set when we were doing it live. It's just got some really good build-ups and just really good kind of brutal. It's simple but effective. It just feels really good to play. I really love. It's turned into one of my favorite songs. But when I was hearing it, I was like, dude, I totally see like a red room, latex, a bondage fly swatter, like I'm thinking like, and he's like, yeah, we're totally getting into it. And then the next thing I know, we got Etsy masks and fairies, and I'm like, this isn't what I originally thought this was going to turn out. But all right, man, whatever.
Yeah.
But
we'll see what happens.
But see, this is what I really liked about it, because I just talked with another band and we did exactly that. So, and I'm all in it, you know. I'm a very simple guy, but you know, I as I was living in Montreal, I was in the BDSM scene, and you know, I had latex clothes made for my, you know, I had all this, and I like it, but it's also quite cliche, you know. I like it, but it's so cliche, and I liked that your Fool's Folly was a breath of fresh air, you know. It was kind of like, that's why I said in the beginning, it's so colorful. And if you have normal industrial, it's like all rusty and you know, with sepia tones, and you know, and things are, you know, there's a filled, you know, everyone is gray and you know, worked up, and this was kind of like, no, it was like a fairy tale. It was a fairy tale. I got, you know, and
like
colorful,
like a
and
movie Legend.
it's like
Legend.
something like that, exactly. So for me, you know, it's kind of like a dichotomy. It's a cool word I like in English. Dichotomy. I also like equilibrium, but this is not usable here. You know, I'm trying to show off.
You make it sound French.
It's
when
a
you
great,
say that.
yeah.
Equilibrium. I will have a French band on soon, and I you know, I lived in Montréal, so I have. Merci pour votre collaboration. Je m'appelle Tobias. Oh, enchanté. Oui, oui. Thomas. Okay. Thomas.
It's very German wee though. Everything was very French until you got to the wee. Then
but the French, no, the Quebecois French is really tabarnak, hostie. You know, we talk really harsh. You know, it's not the lovely French you have, like, you know, the French cuisine. You know, it's more like tabarnak, hostie. You know, really.
So you were talking earlier about, like, at some point when Fleischkrieg does get to come to Europe, and eventually we will meet. In my mind, it's not only do we get to meet, but I'm like, Toby needs to be our tour manager throughout Europe. He needs to be the one babysitting us and making sure that we're not crossing some cultural lines, doing some.
Boy, I don't know. Can you cross a line in Germany? I don't know. It seems like the Germans.
There are no lines in Germany.
I don't know.
There's a lot of rules in Germany. Yeah, you can. I mean, basically, if you I don't know, if you tilt your head too much, you cross the rule already. So Germans love rules, you know.
But it's also like, I'm not gonna lie. So I saw your performance for the first time. During the tour. Like we had a guy that was handling all the video, like the loading and the OBS stuff, and he was the one that like pieced everything together. And so when I watched it, it was literally like I was watching it for the first time, like everybody else. And I remember about halfway through it, I'm like, oh, this is great. This is I feel so good. And I also remember my wife was like, I want to see Megalmodus. That's how we refer to it, because that's what it looks like in English, is Megalmodus. Like it's pronounced Megalmodash.
Megalmodash. This is from where I lived in Hungary. You know, it's a Hungarian word. It means to dream or to have a vision. So you know, and it's very unique because it's spelled wrong, but this has the real cool implication that if you Google it, if you only find it, because there is no other Megalmodash. There's just me.
That's very true. That's very true.
This is why I kept
it as Mega El Modus.
Okay. You can call me names, whatever you want. The most important thing is you call me.
Oh, not a problem. So anyway, we're watching it, and then like you have this look on your face, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then you reach in your pocket and you pull out that choker, and everybody in my house, we just all look at each other like, what the fuck is he about to do?
This got very German.
It just got very real all of a sudden.
That's why I don't show my wife on the screen, because she's in the kitchen. I put her there. Yes. So I have to stop soon because she has her bathroom break soon. No. But
no, dude, there were so none of the people in the tour saw your performance except for the guy that was doing the video stuff, and literally all of us in our group chat were like, "What the fuck just happened? What the hell is he doing?" And we just kept on like, "Oh my God, is he? Yes, he is. He's putting a chain on his neck and he's dragging him around. There's some blood. What the?"
And he kept playing pretty good though.
Dude, it was so fun. It was so much fun. I loved it. I cannot wait to hang with you in Europe.
Thank you very much. Yeah, maybe you know, like I said, we never know what happens. I'm talking. Okay, I should not talk about things that are not set up yet, but I'm in talk with one very big guy of German metal things. So there is possibilities, and anyway, we will see what happens. But what I we were preparing our it was very cold in the place where there was no heating. So
was Max Nipples telling you it was cold?
Yeah. And no, and if you look in one of the shots, you see my lips and they're blue because I got so cold. And we in a way you see you did it better in Folley because we kind of did cliche things, but when again we were like, if we just, what I said earlier, I hate it if bands just film their performance and nothing happens, because we're like, okay, I have seen thousands of bands. I know how they play guitar. I know how they stand behind a microphone. I don't need to see the thousand next one. So we need to do something to spice it up, because especially if we have an opportunity to, and we were just, what can we do, and we did.
I mean, we're probably going to get a choker out too at some point. I mean, it's industrial. You have to eventually start choking people and whipping them. It's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. But
especially when you cover a song like Relax.
Especially with Relax, like I'm probably going to put on, when Relax comes, I'm probably going to put on the full-on leather daddy outfit. I might go drag with that. I don't really know what I'm doing with that, but I appreciate the fact that you say that about the video, and I know it doesn't make perfect sense, but I appreciate the fact that you saw what we were trying to do. Like we're just trying to. With art, you're always just trying to figure out what's the inspiration, where you're coming from, and how do you try to deliver it in some way that's entertaining for people. And I have a big love for fantasy and Renaissance and stuff like that. And to me, like, I think you're right though. Like industrial music, if you're not careful, you'll just sort of recycle the same old things. And Fool's Folly is about sensuality. It's about misplaced aggression and sensuality and instincts that are conflicting. And I thought putting like a beautiful world with that, along with a scary one, was going to be the way to go with it. And we could have gone, and I still think it would have worked had we done the full-on whipping and all that shit. But I don't know. Like, to me, like, it was just kind of a fun detour to
exactly.
take.
No, that's exactly what I said. It would have worked, no question about it. But it would have been just like, oh yeah, that's another one of these industrial kind of, I've seen it 1,000 times, and and I don't know. You could have. I just got a invitation on Instagram from a dominatrix, and she's open for doing things and stuff. I mean, like video stuff, and I was like, oh man, this looks good. And then I was like, oh man, but it would be so normal, another bondage girl, another latex, sexy. It looks good, and of course, it's kind of sex sells. I don't have to tell you that. So
cool.
that's why you have your sexy buddy in the video.
That's right.
That's now I get it. That's why you in the park they didn't let you alone because you were. I got it.
Well, me and Thomas are like, listen, we're getting older, but we gotta. He's got CrossFit coming up. I'm working out every day at the gym, so we gotta sell what's left of our asses as much as we can, and then we're gonna have hot babes show up too, and we're gonna milk this train as long as we can milk it. Until I'm 60 years old, and if I'm in Walker, I'm still gonna be like flexing the tries.
Exactly.
That's what you got to do. You got to because there's somebody out there who, anyway, you get it.
I get it. Absolutely. No. I mean, I can't wait when the gym opens again because I'm going jogging now, and I hate jogging, but that's the only thing I can do. And let me tell you, you young guys, I have arthritis in both joints, so I have to be really careful.
Really?
Yes, I'm an old man. Yeah, when we hit, I'm with a walker, and I'm getting there. Yeah,
I'll be 40. Yeah. I'll be 47 next month. That's where I'm at.
I'm 45. I'm 45.
We're in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, we're in the same neighborhood. We're not gonna ask anyone else. By the way, let's
My
switch.
birthday was last week. I turned 42.
He's the youngin.
I'm the youngin.
The young boy. Okay. Yeah,
you can see my refrigerator. See my refrigerator back there? It's covered in supplements.
In supplements. Yeah, right. I see it a little bit. Yeah.
That's what all those little bottles are. They're all like different supplements for your testosterone, your prostate, all that shit. It's all up there.
Yeah. I hear you.
We refer to it. You ever heard the term whippersnapper?
Whippersnapper. I heard it, but what does it mean? Whippersnapper.
It's a term, like, I don't even know where it derived from, but it's a common term used by old people to refer to young people. Like, oh, you damn whippersnappers.
Okay.
You're like, get off my lawn. Yeah, it's something that old people say to young people. It's a put down to them.
Okay. Yeah, I heard it, but I never
talk like they're an old person. They usually refer to them like, oh, you whippersnapper.
Okay, so it's just.
But I really hope that in the future, Fleischkrieg can be like if I had a dream, it would be that Fleischkrieg is going to introduce some new ways of seeing this genre, so that it's not so trapped in what you think it needs to be. Like Folley itself is a weird song because it's a little bit metal, but it's a little bit synth pop too.
I wanted to say that because I was as Thomas said, he didn't like it in the beginning. I had to say I had to listen to it twice as well. I was like, okay, it's the
weird
word.
little.
Yeah,
I was like,
it wasn't
like I just. It felt very Addams Family-ish, like a little happy Addams Family.
I think the part he's talking about is the main key line that comes in the chorus, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a very synth poppy chorus in a metal song, so it doesn't.
But
doesn't really belong.
But this is exactly you made it your own, and I don't really know. Things will evolve anyway, and this is kind of your really first album now. And yesterday I was talking with a band, and we said, a band kind of finds itself by the third album. So you're kind of still trying out things, and that's absolutely fine. Right. This is what I guess we all laugh on music. There is no right or wrong. There's just something you like or you don't like. And if you like it, everything is fine. And, this doesn't mean... Yesterday I talked with the guy who does my artwork, and he said, oh, this song I don't like. And I was like, okay, what can I do? I like it. So it doesn't make it better or worse. It's just like, okay, he has his own opinion, and I don't... Right. We're not in, like you said, we're in a bubble. We're not in mainstream, and we don't have to kind of go for the algorithm. Okay, this is in right now. Let's do just that, and this is the structure you have to use. I just want
I
to.
think that.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. The thing is, before we went too far somewhere else again, because you said something that struck me a little bit weird, because you said Fool's Folly is your first video, but wasn't there a different one?
Oh,
I mean, there is a different one. So it's not your first. Okay, great.
No,
When
that's
I was
right.
just like,
it's our first single off of this album.
okay, from the new album. Okay, the first video from the new album.
So
okay,
the very first video we ever did was Bloody Prophets.
exactly.
That was shot and put together. I mean, it was shot in like a day, basically, between you and I. But that was before we were officially like this is a band.
Thing, officially
yeah,
a thing.
It was before we were a thing. It was almost like it was a date. It wasn't. We weren't.
The tryout.
It was a tryout. It was back when I was still very serious with Seraphim being my primary project, and I was
moonlighting as a guitarist.
I was moonlighting as a guitarist for Fleischkrieg, but I was also pimping. I was doing it kind of like a quid pro quo type of thing. I'll do guitars for your stuff with Fleischkrieg as long as you do videos for me with Seraphim. And that's where we kind of did that. So he did my videos for Seraphim. And I did the video with him for Fleischkrieg or for Bloody Prophets. And then like he had only had 2 or 3 songs put together at that time. Like he had Bloody Prophets, he had Brawler and Something Nice.
Yeah.
And in which Bloody Prophets was like it was good. All that stuff, those first 3 songs was kind of like demo-ish. Even then I'd only put a couple of guitar parts in, like I didn't full on think about it structurally. It was like I'm just I basically would put a bunch of riffs out there and put them where I thought they belonged, and I would just send him a bunch of stuff. He would take it, cut it up, and put it where he thought. And then we got to had an interesting situation where Seraphim was playing a show in Seattle, and one of the opening bands dropped off. So there was an opening for, they needed another act. And the club asked me if I knew anybody, and I reached out to Richard going, "Hey, dude, there's an opening. You want to do Fleischkrieg?" And he's like, "I will, but only if you play guitar." Yeah. At the time, I'd only heard and done 3 songs. And I was like, yeah, of course I'll play guitar with you. So he sent me 3 more songs that he had done, and I actually reworked those, Saunting Eyes, Brawler, and Bloody Prophets, and added music to 3 other ones, and we threw a set together. And at that point, that's when I was like, you know what? I think there's really something here. Let's invest something in this. And at that point, that was also around the same time I got a job to relocate to Los Angeles. And, he and I got to talking, and I was like, dude, I think there's something here. Why don't you come down to LA and let's do an album. Let's really go headlong into it. And that's what most of 2020 was. He come down in the summer, around August.
Yeah.
I finished putting guitar parts to the rest of the songs. It was an interesting interaction that caused us to do Relax. Like we kept kicking around the idea of maybe doing a cover. When I first started playing music, I played in cover bands, but I was never in a cover band playing guitar. I always played bass. I never openly was like, we're going to go do this cover. And I went on a weekend to a Danish style village in California called Sovang.
What's a Danish-styled village?
It's a Danish, yeah. Basically, there were it was a population of Danish people that moved to this area many years ago, and it's basically like a mini Danish town in California.
I like a Danish as well, maybe for breakfast.
Oh, they have a, I don't know what it's called, but it's the deep fried pancake balls with the Adalberter or something like that. It's
Okay.
I can't. It's got like an AE in there and a lot of bars, but it just basically tastes like pancake balls with fruit and sugar and just lots of carbs and really bad stuff for you. But so we the wife and I we took a long weekend and we're staying there, and I woke up one morning with the name Frankie Goes to Hollywood in my head. I'm not like, I grew up in the 80s, but I didn't listen to 80s music. Like I was pretty sheltered. And I turned to my wife and I'm like, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, like that's a band, right? And she just looked at me like, yes. Like I was like, what song do they do again? She's like, Relax. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And then I sort of got like that line stuck in my head. And then Richard was staying at our house watching our dog, and I called him, just checking up on the dog, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I think I got an idea for a song that we should cover." And I was like, "Dude, I just woke up with the phrase Frankie Goes to Hollywood stuck in my head," and he was like, "Dude, I was seriously thinking the same thing, that we should cover Relax."
That night before, I had the same thing came to my head. Like that song came to my head. I was like, oh, wait a second. That's a good idea. Isn't that weird?
Right.
Mythical.
Sure. Yeah.
A little weird.
It was a little weird.
So we decided, all right, we'll try to cover Frankie Goes to Hollywood. I was going to take a stab at it, but I was just really struggling. Like I still, and I was like, Rich was like, I got it. He sent like the Bear music to me, and then I was like,
it's awesome.
I was like, it's awesome. I've got it from there. It's dark. It's creepy. And I'm going to make it heavy. And I put the guitar tracks to it. I was just like, I was getting into it while I was recording the song, the riffs, and editing it and sent it over to him. And just could not believe how amazing it turned out. So
I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, I sang that song at karaoke all the time, and I always loved the part where I would yell "semen" at the audience. Like just there's a version of it where you yell the word semen.
I don't know this one.
You don't know that version? It's out there. There's 2 videos on YouTube.
And then you kind of are surprised when in the gay area, people come at you while you're shooting a video, right? I'm not really.
You're not buying our story, are you?
No, I'm not really. You went there on purpose. I
was just there to ejaculate and yell semen at people, and it was our used rubbers. Let's be honest, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Piles and piles.
We're litter bugs.
So, like, I keep finding these little nuggets about these songs. So I'm not a lyricist. I'm a guy that I'm all about the hook. I'm about how it feels when I play the music. Sometimes I'll hear I'll listen to the lyrics, but that's not really the thing that I focus on. I've never been in a band where I've had to turn and go, dude, did you just say, did that line just say, not the world's most interesting lay? And he's like, yes, that's what it says.
Like, it says, yeah. Listen to a lot of Morrissey growing up.
Okay. You say that. And then, but I find myself at these times, like, especially when, when we were in the middle of the mixing and mastering, we were going through I was hearing these songs so many times in so many different versions. And I would just get like in this zone, and I would hear this line that he would say, and I'd be like, oh my God, like, now I'm losing it. It's like,
the Reach one?
Yes, the Reach line where it's like
our thoughts are not
ours
to keep, they're lines to say to the world beyond. You can do what you like. And then there's the one from Fool's Folly, which I really like. My favorite lyric from Fool's Folly is no smile is meant to frighten and no smile is permanent. And that's kind of like early on in love relationships, I would struggle sometimes with people being nice to me. Like I wasn't expecting that level of beauty and love. Like I wasn't adapted for it because I grew up in a pretty rough childhood where I just wasn't
happy and I wasn't comfortable. I was never safe.
Mm-hmm.
So smiling to me was almost predatory. It was like, what are you smiling for?
It's tough for an American to say because you are kind of the smiley culture, and
that's true. We lead with the smile, Yeah.
Come to Germany, you would be at home. Nobody smiles at you. Like people would say, "What are you looking at? Huh? Oh. Am I cinema? Am I cinema? Huh? Why do you look at me?" Exactly, crazy fool.
So no smile is meant to frighten, yet no smile is permanent. There's always a time and a place where things change, and you're not always going to be someone's best friend or your lover's going to turn out to be. So you have to, So I try to lyrically, I try to add things that are a little bit more like you were talking about Du Hast at the very beginning. Now here's the thing: I've heard. I don't speak German. I actually speak a little Russian, which we'll get into in a second. Ty говоришь по-русски немного?
Мы говорим по-русски.
Yeah. I love
pierogi.
Очень хорошо.
Очень хорошо.
I like pierogies with cheese sauce and chicken.
Okay.
My favorite Russian saying, which is probably like a really old Russian saying. It's probably from the 40s or 50s. No Russian kid's gonna know this, but I learned it in one of those books that you had to read about idioms, and it's "Одна корова дресливая, все стало передрищет."
Oh yeah, exactly. I get you, man. Yeah, that's Tolstoy. It's of course, everyone knows it.
Yeah,
I have no clue what you just said.
What I said was, if one cow has the runny shits, the diarrhea, it spoils the whole herd, which is the Russian version of one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. That's the Russian way of saying that, right? They go cows and diarrhea.
Call about cows and diarrhea.
Cows and diarrhea. Now I don't know if any Russians say that anymore, but.
I haven't spoke with a lot of Russians lately, so maybe I should do that.
They don't smile.
Yeah, that's true. Germans are also usually not very smiley bunch. It's kind of really, I lived across the world for a while. I lived 7 years abroad. So for me, this is also, sometimes it's a curse with the Germans, because if you look at a good-looking girl and you just smile and say, "Oh, yeah," and then they would be like, "Oh, what does he want?" and stuff. We are really bad with making compliments or something, because people will always assume, he wants something from me, and right. Things. So you're kind of really like, okay, you're not saying anything or whatever. The only time I did. When it's like older ladies where people will kind of assume that I don't want anything from her, when I just can say, "Oh, you have a very nice perfume," for example. I said to one, and she was really happy just to have a compliment or something. But I try to step out of this a little bit and do it.
Nice.
But of course. When you are kind of a creepy guy, when it depends on also how you say it. But when I say to another good-looking girl, "Hey, good-looking girl, your dress looks really nice." I don't know why she kind of screams and runs away. I don't know. I'm such a nice, approachable guy.
The mace comes out. You're like, why mace me? I don't even understand.
I don't know. I like you. I like your eyes. I don't know.
To pluck your eyes. Is that okay?
Can I chew on your eyeballs?
Love talking to you.
I mean, so a lot of people don't realize that, though. Like in America, it's different. We can be very friendly on the surface, but we're not necessarily real about it, and that annoys a lot of Europeans. Yeah,
I lived for like I told you, for 1 year in the United States, and I had a really good friend. And once I went back, I realized that we talked a lot, but I don't know anything about him. Because one of a friend told me then, he was engaged to this girl, and I realized we never talked about this. I didn't know anything of his past or his the real important thing, that he was engaged or that he was married or whatever. I knew a lot of things, what movies he liked and stuff. Of course I knew him, but I didn't know any deep conversation, was there. So it's really easy to get to know Americans and have like a shallow thing. As I was living in Silver Springs, it was a black neighborhood. And I remember I went to a bus stop, and before I even reached the bus stop, people were like, "Oh man, what's going on? How are you?" Like, the first thing I remember when I was there, I went by a building site, and I was looking what the handymen were doing there, and just looking around, and one of them looked up and said, "Hey, how are you? What's going on?" And my first reaction, it was like the first or second day I was in the United States, I was like, "Excuse me, do you know me? Why do you talk to me?" And so and he was like, "Sorry, man, I was just wanted to be nice,
Wow.
because you don't usually talk with strangers, It's kind of
it's also, it depends on the region too. Like, you're going to get varying levels, especially like if you go,
I guess so.
If you go in the South, it's almost overly abundant of like, it's not only smiles and whatnot, like you'll be complete strangers and they'll invite you in your home, and it's over the top of like, "Hey, how are you doing? God bless you."
I was walking down I was doing daily. I went to Alabama to visit my mother a couple weeks ago, and I was doing daily walks to get some exercise. Mm-hmm. It got so bad because in Alabama, when you're walking down the street and cars are going by, everybody does this. They all wave. Mm-hmm. The car waves at you, and if you're on the side of the road, you wave back. So imagine 10, 15 minutes into your walk, 10 cars have gone by. I started looking down at the ground. I was just like, I can't keep fucking waving at everybody.
It's to a point.
It's genuine too. It's not just
Yeah, it's really tough for us hardcore industrial people to smile. I have a version. Oh man, this really hurts. I don't do this exercise. Huh? Sorry.
If you were a real industrial artist, you would get Botox to numb the smile muscle.
Exactly.
So that you would always
like this all the time, and and no fun at all. By the way, I was thinking as you were telling me about the Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Now my Botox just kicked in. But another good song for you would be I really like this one. But I guess it has been done to death. Okay, I stop.
You're going to get a stroke.
Yeah, you spin me around and around here like a record from the Live or Dead? No,
Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive. And so, but I think this has been done to death. But this would be also a really cool one because
it would be cool.
Yeah, it was.
I love that song.
Yeah,
we'll put that in the hopper as a candidate because I do like that song. I brought up to him the other day. I wanted to try Huey Lewis in the News, "The Power of Love."
Oh, okay, yeah, this would be interesting too.
Right.
No.
To which my response was, "I will wait to hear what you come up with, and we'll go from there."
I can hear it in my head right now, like a very dark dance main riff with the chords from "The Power of Love." Dun 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 dun. There might be a way. I don't know.
Some video montage from American Psycho.
How many industrial bands have covered a Huey Lewis song?
That's
true. A question to ask. I don't know. I don't think anybody has.
I keep trying. Seraphim did a cover of Ace of Base.
Yeah, I love Ace of Base.
All what she wants.
So here's the thing. But I did a B-side. Like, I didn't do like All That She Wants or The Sign or It's a Beautiful Life.
Yeah, you did.
Don't Turn Around.
Random.
No, I did a random one. I did Young and Proud. Like, okay. I love Ace of Base. I love the Sign album, except the song The Sign. I can't stand that one. But every other song, Voulez-Vous Danser, Young and Proud, fucking love that album. I bought that album like 3 or 4 times because for some reason they kept disappearing.
Wow.
And this was pre-digital age. Like I would buy the CD, after a couple of weeks it would disappear. So I would buy a new one. Kept disappearing. I later found out my wife doesn't like Ace of Base.
So she kind of So you kept Ace of Base alive because you bought all the albums again and again.
I probably funded their continued success. Yes. What was another one we were talking about? Maybe Toto's Africa.
Well, that gets done a lot. That's been Weezer just did that.
Really?
I like Better Alive.
Yeah, well, but like you said, that's been done a lot.
That's been done a lot.
Yeah, it's been done a lot. Yeah, but you can make it. But what I wanted to say is, the important thing for Fleischkrieg is like you slowly. I mean, you're getting there. You find your own voice, because what I really like with covers is that you have to make your own spin on it. You know, you don't. I hate if people, like Thomas said in a cover band, when you play it 1-1, it's kind of like, why would you do that? That's so boring, because it's already been done, and most of the time better than you can do it. So make your own spin on it. And Rammstein did a lot of cool covers where we did their own spin. I really like Stripped, where we and I read Till Lindemann, the singer, he just couldn't get it right, the voices, the lyrics. So they cut it, and this is so cool. It's like, and this is absolutely right. Make it your own. You don't have to do it one by one. Even if the lyrics are there, you can just throw out some of the lyrics and put just in what you can do. And so this is the freedom.
Yeah, and we added
exactly.
Yell the Seaman. We added a melody line to it that's new. I mean, we try to make it our own thing. And so back to what we were saying before, like I actually think with Fleischkrieg, and even with your band and stuff like that, like I think it's important. We're very early on, and I think like my strategy, I've learned this from making movies, is that you can never make everybody happy. Mm-hmm. What you should be doing as an artist is trying to figure out what really you can bring to the table, what you can create that's unique to your own experience. And then, so I believe in the David Lynch model, or I believe, let's say, in just everyone's artistic model, which is like you dive into your own space and you try to bring forth whatever it is you're going to do. Now, in doing that, sometimes you're not always going to make everybody happy. You're not necessarily going to make a great song. Mm-hmm. But if you do it enough times over and over again, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 are going to land pretty steadily and well. And I feel like Fool's Folly was like one of our songs that we both really liked. Mm-hmm. That came from a place that it didn't really make sense, but eventually he added his input, I added mine, and we refined it, and we're gonna let it go into the wild, and then we're gonna go on to some other stuff too, and hopefully over time enough stuff will have risen to the top.
Exactly. Right. And this is exactly what I said with my video podcast or something. Just do it. There's always people who criticize. Okay, now I can say it. He's not going to check it anyway. I had the opportunity to get in touch with one of the guitar players from the Sisters of Mercy. Of course, he's not the original one, but he's the current one. And because a friend of mine from the UK, he knows him, and so I got connected. And he checked my stuff because I wanted him on. I'm a big Sisters of Mercy fan. But he said, this is not. Your videos that to do this more and more camera shots and more angles and this and so. And I was like, I hear you and you're right, but I'm a one-man army. I can only do that much, and so I'm doing this thing. And but the point I'm gonna make is, at least somebody looked at it, from the Sisters of Mercy, they kind of looked, and who knows, in a year, people will find things out, and, once Fleischkrieg goes on a stadium tour, and then we see, he talked twice with Fleischkrieg, so, he's the man, and then, you all rise to the top. I don't know.
Well, what's weird is, like, I made this film Starleaf a few years ago, and when I made it, I wasn't, it wasn't really until just recently that I started to really realize how much of an impact it has had. It took about 5 or 6 years for enough people to start seeing it, but now it's showing up on different. It showed up on High Times magazine. It's just it's one of those things as an artist, you have to just do whatever it is that you're going to do and let it land where it lands. And then you move on and keep getting better at whatever it is that you can do. And what happens is people do go back in time and they sort of follow you a little bit and they start seeing where you've been and who you've talked to. And it starts to add as a snowball effect over time. But if you're obsessed about what's happening
now, and you know, and now grow fast, and what, you know, this is exactly what I said in the beginning. Yeah. I don't fucking care. You know, if you like my stuff, check it, and you know, I think what we had now with this nice conversation, it's so fun, and you know, if somebody finds it, there's maybe. I don't know. You could have made it in 10 minutes. What we are talking about, you know, well, your new video and but we did it more entertaining because we had fun with it, and the fun will spill over hopefully to the listeners. And if not, what the fuck, you know, we had fun, and this is all that counts. So
I think there's always an X factor, and especially in artists' lives, there's an X factor that's driving them, and it's driven me, it's driven you, it's driven Thomas. And it's really about how good you are as a listener to your own voice, inner voice. And when it tells you to take a chance, to take a risk, to finish something and move on. And if you're good at listening to that and you're not too caught up in your own bullshit, in time, I think enough events conspire to put you in the places you need to be, wherever they are. And like for me, being in LA, making music right now is not something I would have thought a year ago when I was in Seattle. And to release this video, it's just when talking to you in Germany, like, and so it's I don't know, like I feel like Fleischkrieg too is an experiment. Like we're doing metal, but we're doing synth pop, and maybe like half the time it won't work, but half the time if it does, that's cool. That's a new way of adding more life to something that, you know, has been done so many times. And if again, like I, as an artist who's been out there swinging at the fences my whole life, like. I don't give a shit exactly if every hit ball I hit is a home run. I don't care. Like I know that I'm going to get better even with the base hits and with the fouls and the strikeouts. I know I'm going to get better.
Exactly, and this is exactly what I think, you know, what I meant with also the Apocalypse tour and stuff that sets us a little bit apart, because it's so easy to sit at home and whine and, you know, and somebody needs to find you. Or, you know, I'm a radio DJ as well. And sometimes I have a feeling there's people just kind of putting out an album and then thinking, and now they get discovered and we don't have to do anything anymore and just sit at home and to wait until the big checks come in from all the labels who wants to sign them. And but it's not the reality. And so, you know, we are kind of in this together, that we are doing things, and we might not, like you said, we might not land, and people don't see the. But I know, for me, it already, you know, I met you. I was on your virtual tour. This also all happened because I was talking with you. If I would have not talked with you, nothing of this would happen. And who knows what will happen in a year, you know, when you are on your world tour and you make a step into Germany for your little stadium tour here. You know, so you never know.
Well, we got you on our album. We have you talking on our album, which we love.
Exactly.
So they hear you.
They hear you
before they hear Richard.
Yeah, the first person you introduced, and the way you did it reminded me of like watching like old Addams Family type. It's so big and strong, and like here we are pretending to be German, right? And then we finally get a German guy to deliver the German the way it's supposed to be delivered. It's fucking cool. Like it's like, you know, other than having like, I don't know, like, I mean, to me it's like you're the way you sell it as an actor too, and all that stuff. It adds to the feel of what we're trying to create. And again, we wouldn't have, like, how did we meet? We met on Submit Hub or something?
No. I met Thomas. I met Thomas.
You met me first.
I met you first, and you told me about him.
Oh. No. So how this all started was Submit Hub.
Really? I don't remember.
Yeah, so we had done those 3 singles, those 3 demos, and he had sent, and I had done some singles for Seraphim. I couldn't hardly get anybody to pick him up. He was like, hey, the Shellshocked guy picked me up with one of the Fleischkrieg songs.
Okay.
And so I was like, all right, I will submit one of my songs to him as well. I don't even remember which one it was. But
he's got great
one.
Ring Road.
Ring Road, yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So I sent Ring Road over to you, and then you and I started chatting back and forth, and I was the first one on one of your first video podcasts, and then
that's true. Yeah.
and was
where
talking
I couldn't even get to start the camera, so you didn't see me. And
oh my
also
God,
the same with Rich. He couldn't see me also in our first video podcast. Only I saw him because I couldn't get it started with the camera. Now I know why, but back then I didn't know shit.
Wow, that was that
was
early on. Wow.
Yeah, it was very early on. I was also visiting some friends in Ohio.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like on my iPad chatting with you on my lap. So it was a little bit different. But yeah, and then I connected you with Derek from DK0.
That's right.
Exactly,
You did that
exactly,
interview.
and also with him, and so it was so weird. But anyway, this is opportunities you get, and I can tell you now, the whole thing, this radio thing started was, I was pissed like you that nobody wanted to play my music, and also that nobody has the same taste as me. So I always hated, I can listen to the top 40s and stuff and whatever, but I'm a very particular in this thing. I like a lot of different kind of music. I like pop music, I like metal, I like rock, I like goth, whatever, dark wave. But what I cannot stand is only one thing for hours. What I need is a mix, and so that's what was the reason why I started this radio show, because I wanted a mixed bag show, and also my playlist is mixed. There is pop music, there is metal, there is industrial, there is gothic, there is dark wave, pop music, whatever. Because when I listen to music, I like it a little bit hard, and then a little bit soft, and then a little bit medium, whatever. I don't like to listen to one thing at a time for an extended time. That's maybe just me, but I can explain best when I like punk music. I grew up with punk music, cool stuff. But if I go to
No, I've got a story for you when you finish.
Okay, I'll just finish. But when I go to a punk rock concert, it's mostly like, first song, 180 miles per hour. The next song, 180 miles. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. And exactly. And then the third song, and when I'm like, okay, now you could kind of, there's a build up. You could kind of maybe tone it down. But we're going. And when it kind of like so. It's the same, it kind of gets just noise, and flatline noise. It's the same stuff again and again and again. And and this is where I really realized I like, a hard song, a soft song, a fast song, and whatever. But it needs to be mixed, so to get my brain constantly involved and interested. And this is the whole reason I started this. And also, of course, with the thing, nobody wanted to play my stuff, so okay, I play it myself. So this is the whole thing. And now the radio show has like almost 100,000 monthly listeners. So we're getting stronger and stronger. And with the radio show, I'm also talking about the people I talk on my video podcast, and the people in my video podcast I play on my. So it's kind of getting, there's a momentum, like you said, Rich. There's a snowball momentum and a positive snowball momentum. Anyway, I want to hear what Thomas has to say about punk.
So I, in my late teens, the very first band I was ever in was a Christian punk band.
Oh.
My favorite band in high school was Pennywise.
In nomine patri.
Yeah, exactly. Well, So anyway, like I grew up listening to Pennywise, NoFX, MXPX,
cool
and
stuff,
Supertones,
yeah.
like basically the Epitaph bands and stuff like that. that was in high school. That's what I listened to my whole senior year. Like it was.
Thomas, just go ahead and say, and because I can hear you, and I will go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna listen to you.
So anyway, my wife and I, we're thinking about buying a house in the area. So my wife started like looking up stuff on these apps and whatnot, and found that there is this property right across the street from us that's for sale. We live in an okay neighborhood. I mean, it's fairly nice, and we're in a nice house. But the house that was showing for sale is like they listed it for over $6 million, and it's basically a mansion. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little weird. Just I know you're in the bathroom, but I'm just gonna talk nonsense to your green screen until you come back.
He's got a pretty green screen.
It is pretty. It looks very good.
Is that real? Is that his actual house?
Yeah, that's his actual house.
That's
That's it looks like his practice space. That's the microphone that he was singing into.
Oh, you're right. So
it's very similar to yours.
Some filter on this.
I like his T-shirt.
Look, he's got a T-shirt over there.
I want a Magal Madash T-shirt.
We need to get one of those.
I will. I'll fucking sport a Magal Madash shirt.
Oh, I would totally
live while I'm playing.
I would do the same.
Oh fuck yeah, man!
I wear Seraphim shirts almost every other day.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
and
I'd fucking wear a Magal Madash shirt like when we do our stadium tour.
So he's Hungarian.
No, it's a Hungarian word. He's German.
He's German.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I heard you. Thank you for yesterday.
We wanted to set the scene for what we were looking at.
No,
so
it's good. Okay, so go ahead.
I love the green curtains. They're beautiful.
Yeah, no, it was meant. As I started, now I'm in my own flat here, and this is my home studio. I can. So there's a few things.
Oh, you got red curtains too.
Yeah.
It's
I like
Christmas up in there.
Krampus. Are you Krampus?
No, I'm not. I'm not Krampus. No, what do I want? No, and back then, a lot of my radio, other radio DJs on the radio station I'm on, they did a lot of streaming on Twitch. And they used a lot of green screen, but then Twitch forbade, that you play copyrighted music and something, and so it completely fell off. So that's why I never really used it. But this was the reason why it's there, that I could kind of green screen whatever when I'm twitching. But I never signed up for Twitch. I never twitched. Not once yet. So because as you know, I'm a one-man army. I can only do that much, and I have my radio show, and I have this video podcast, and sometimes I would like to make some music as well. I have a lot of unfinished songs I still have to sing, and lots of things to do. But I'm happy with that. I like. See, this kind of what I said earlier sets us apart a little bit. We have lots of things to do, and we like to do things. We're not lazy. I'm honestly, I stopped playing any computer games since a few years because I rather put the time in for the things I think more worthwhile, because I can save the world a couple of times in my computer game, but I can change the world when I do really something in the real world.
Whoa!
That's deep. That's me. Anyway, I want to hear the rest of the story here. So you have a 6 million building next to you.
Yeah.
And,
so
okay.
my wife, she's on this app, and she's like, "Hey, check out the neighbors across the street. They're selling their house." I'm like, "Okay." And she's showing the pictures, and she's flipping through, and there's a studio, like a modest studio. And then like we notice a bunch of posters in there, and it's like Descendants, No Effects, Pennywise, like there's all these punk posters. And I'm like, it's got to be like some famous like music producer or something. But I don't think anything of it. And then one day I was on my laptop, and I was having internet problems, and I checked on there and checked the available networks, and 2 networks popped up that I was like, what? And it was No Effects musician, No Effects producer. And I was like, what the hell? So I did some searching and found out my neighbor is fucking Fat Mike from No Effects.
Cool.
I about shit my pants because about once or twice a week, I'll be working and all of a sudden I will fucking hear punk music across the street from me. I'm listening to No Effects rehearse and play music across the street, and I'm it's
that's
like
cool.
The 17-year-old me is shitting a brick. That holy
so
crap.
so you should tell your wife to bake a cake and be neighborly and go over there and hello neighbor, I have a cake for you.
Dude, they've got so many
with a
signs
No FX
up,
shirt or
like
something.
private property, no trespassing.
Okay.
But part of me is like, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to buzz that buzzer and go, hey, I heard the music. I'm a neighbor and a musician.
It's a little bit loud.
We
Can you
should
turn it
hang.
down? Can you turn it down a little bit?
Yeah. Why don't you come to my place? I'll make you some margaritas. It'll be great. Come on.
No, you can hear the drums. I'll walk out to my Prius in the morning to go to the gym, and I'll hear and I'm like, oh, they're practicing early, It's that drum beat that's very the same drum beat.
Oh, yeah, like the super quick snare rolls, like oh.
Cool. This reminds me, as I was living in the United States, one of my guys I worked with, he gave me a tape back then, and one was NoFX, and I forget the other one, but it was the first time I heard them, and it was like, oh, that's cool, because he wanted to give me music for the gym. And yeah, it was like energetic, and so that's cool. That's really
my
cool.
favorite album is White Trash, Two Hebes, and a Bean.
I don't know so much from them, so I cannot really.
Oh,
place
dude,
it somewhere.
that album. So they're at that time, like in 95, 96, Punk and Drublick was a big one, and White Trash, Two Hebes, and a Bean, which was, I mean, nowadays would totally not fly. It'd be highly racist. But yeah,
I remember the body count issue back then. There was the cop killer, exactly, the motherfucking cop killer. I got my black shirt on. I saw them live here. We were playing here in Weimar, and so it was like, and I really couldn't get it. Okay, maybe we should stay away from this territory because I know it's a little touchy subject at the moment. But yeah, I remember these days, and when there was when he couldn't sell it anymore with Cop Killer, so he made freedom of speech, and I remember one of my schoolmates back then. She said, "Oh, I got the new album from what was it?
Ice-T? Body Count?
Body Count, and there's this new song on it, and I'm like, but I have an original with Cop Killer, and it's much cooler.
I remember when that came out. There was so much controversy with it, but I didn't realize. So back then though, they were like, oh, it's Ice-T's, like, this rap dude, whatever. But man, can you?
What's that song you showed me that one night?
Like Body Count.
There's some good Body Count
5 years have been.
There's some cool music. Yep.
Yeah,
oh,
really good.
It's so good. Like every album in the last 5 years has been so good.
Yeah, Body Count is impressive, actually.
I can't believe. Yeah, I fucking love it.
How old is Ice-T?
He should be like a 50, 60 or something in this neighborhood. By the way, this is maybe a good thing to ask you. So, what kind of music you are listening right now to? So, what's in your in your MP3 player, most likely.
Yeah, there's Megamodash and Donka.
Of course. I was fishing for compliments here.
Sinister is what it's under, but
right.
Yeah, the Donka, that's in there. So for me, I've actually been on this weird thing of discovery for the last 6 months or so, where like I'll find a video on YouTube, and for whatever reason, it'll suggest something else that I just can't, and come to find out they've been around for years and I've never heard of them. And it just keeps going one after another. So I would say for me, Lord of the Lost. I've been listening
that's a German.
so much
Chris
to him.
Harms. Chris Harms. He's
Oh my God.
he's everywhere in Germany. He kind of pops up. He's a busy bee. You can find an he's good. And,
I'd never heard of them until about 4 or 5 months ago. And I was, that is a big ass mosquito. Sorry.
Is that a mosquito or one of the mosquito hunter?
Hawks?
It's
yeah.
a mosquito hawk.
Anyway,
Damn.
so yeah, I was watching YouTube one day, and this thing popped up, and it said Lorelei, and I saw a dude with long ass eyelashes and a white priest outfit, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It's a cool song. That's a cool song. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude! Like as soon as it started playing, like there was a couple of seconds, I was like, this is lame as shit. And then he started singing, and I was like, oh my God. And then I discovered Raining Stars.
I don't know this one yet.
Raining Stars is off the Imperium album. Very good song. And actually, that video for Raining Stars inspired us to do a thing that we're going to do for Reach that we'll tell you about here in a minute. But Raining Stars and Under the Sun, On This Rock I'll Build My Church. Like, I just went down this ridiculous rap. Oh my God, those fucking kids! It reminded me of Devil Driver's "Clouds Over California." Like, did you listen to Devil Driver?
No.
So you heard of Cold Chamber? Like, you remember
Cold
Des
Chamber? I know where.
Okay.
Cold Chamber, I heard.
So Des Fafara from Cold Chamber, when Cold Chamber was breaking up, he started a brand new band called Devil Driver back in the early 2000s. On their third album, they did a song called Clouds Over California, and they literally had kids replace the band members performing the song.
That's cool.
And then I saw On This Rock I Will Build My Church video, and I was like, oh my God, it's just like Clouds Over California. But anyway, I was just obsessed with Lord of the Lost for a while, and I introduced my wife to it. I was like, you've got to check out this video. And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, no, you really need to listen to them. So she turned it on one of her Alexa devices while she was working. She's like, they're in my top 5 right now. Like, and in her top 5 is very limited. It includes In Flames, it includes Rammstein, Machine Head, and I forget one of the others, and Lord of the Lost. Like, she fucking loves them. But yeah, I've become obsessed with them a little bit, and just going down that whole rabbit hole. She loves La Bamba, like that song where they're like with the drag queens and all that stuff. That's a really
strange one, yeah.
Oh, it is. Strange. It's very strange. I'm like, really? What the fuck is going on here? She's like, fucking love this song. But yeah, I went down a rabbit hole with that. And then I've Hocico?
Yeah, so me and
Hosio, yeah, I think they're Spanish, right? Or
yeah,
this is in dark electro. How would you agrotech?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
agrotech can get kind of annoying sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not so.
I'm not that big of a fan of agrotech because it gets the same. But Hocico,
they just released a new single.
There's some good stuff that they do that I really like.
They just released a new single.
Most of the time, I have a problem with that the voice is mostly very high, strongly distorted, and it's kind of so boring because the voices are always the same. The music I really like, the music is hard and edgy and stuff, but the voices is kind of most of the time it's boring. exactly, you know, over distorted, and
it's
so,
always the same.
Exactly, it's kind of like
It's just always the same.
flatlining, and that's my problem with Acrotech. But I like the music.
Really
I like the
listen to
music.
their new song though. It's called Broken Empires. They did a really cool video too, which I showed to Richard. I was like, dude, check this out. Like, it's
very simple.
It's very simple. They basically got an actress to stand in front of a camera and lip sync to the lyrics of the song.
Always pays to have cute girls.
But it also acts like, trust me, just watch it and you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it.
My favorite Hoseko song is Damage. It's the one I showed him.
Yeah.
And I'm always trying to rip it off because it just has a really great. It's probably my favorite Agrotech song.
Not the best video though.
I love the video.
Like the video is good, but it's exactly what he was saying. Like it's the typical.
It's a typical. But
it's fuzzy. It's Scipio tones.
But I think they do something pretty cool. I think they're being Mexican, being just from a different part of the world. They just have their own like way that they add some little spice to it. So I've been listening to a lot of NXS.
Really? That's Australia, right?
Yeah, I like synth pop. Oh, you know what I really like is a Danish solo artist called Dinner. I don't know if you've ever heard of Dinner.
I haven't heard of him.
Yeah, he's a random.
I know what
guy.
Dinner is, but
right.
Heard of Dinner.
Probably the worst band name ever.
Yeah.
But
there's more worse band names. I had some. My issue with a radio DJ sometimes is the band names are so bad that I cannot even look for them. You know, like I had a band playing. It's called TLA. And the problem is I don't know what it means, you know, I cannot find them. I cannot find even on Spotify. You cannot search for. I mean, if they have, you know, if you send me the link, I can find them, of course, and then I can find things are out of thing. But when I do my radio show, I usually have Spotify on so that I can read the biography or something. And some is kind of this is really, you know, some band names are really stupid.
Were you gonna say?
What's the one that the guy that you hooked up with, that I played that show with at Mirkwood, the dude from the UK?
Circuit 3.
Okay.
Circuit 3. They're another synth pop band. It's this guy I met. He's from Ireland, and he's got his own solo thing on, and he's released a bunch of albums on iTunes. So sometimes I like to just go down the synth pop route because those guys do a lot of really good music production. Like they're because they're mostly all software based instruments, so they don't have to worry so much about guitars and stuff. They add some of that sometimes too.
It was interesting that a dude from UK Ireland
came all the
way over to a podunk pub in Washington.
Yeah.
And like he had his leather trench coat and his in-ear things, and he had a keyboard that he had strapped around his and it wasn't
Keytar.
a keytar. It was not a keytar.
It wasn't a guitar?
It was not a keytar.
Oh.
It was an actual keyboard that he had held up.
Yeah.
And was
that's right.
Yeah, he was playing it, but he was singing and playing.
He was a cool guy.
But it was like a guitar strap around it. It was.
I went right up to him and asked him for to buy a CD from him, to get an autograph.
By the way, I can show you what I will do because I'm gonna stop playing the guitar because it's just I realized, you know, I'm first of all, you know, I'm a bass player, so it was always a high tuned bass anyway. And I'm not really good at it. But I don't want to stand around when I don't have to sing.
Right.
I got this. Can you see that?
Is that like SBDS?
No, that's actually it's a drum computer. But and you can play drums, but you can also synth. It's not drum 3P, and you can have synth sounds on it. And you can manipulate it. And the cool thing is, you know, for me, when I if it's just rhythm based, I'm always on time because as I told you, I blew out my hearing as I was playing in a lot of punk bands. So my hearing is not that good. So to find the right notes when I'm playing in a song, you know. my hearing is just not that good anymore. But the sound, the drum, the drum beat I get, so I can play with that. So that's what I'm practicing for once
cool.
Germany opens up again and we can play shows.
Plus it's visually interesting. Like
Exactly.
you have to be doing stuff that's interesting. Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
Once I'm back to the gym, I'm gonna show my biceps again. Yeah, but now I'm a little bit weak.
They still look pretty good. Good.
Yeah,
I mean,
thank you.
I only really started getting into this a year ago. I was doing karaoke before I met Thomas, and it wasn't until I started doing Fleischkrieg that I realized how important it was that, some of the skills I had learned performing on stage at a karaoke club, as silly as that might sound, actually had a lot of value, because if you just stand up there and you don't do anything, it's boring.
Yep,
it's totally
exactly.
It's not fun for anybody. And Thomas is really the guy that I actually had the most respect for seeing it, because like when I first saw him perform all by himself, he was totally selling it. He's got like 20 years of stage moves that work really well, and the fact that he cares.
This is exactly what I told him. But I have a big, how you say, Achtung for him. A big admiration, because going alone on stage
I couldn't
and
do it.
doing it, there's if you are in a band, you can hide behind your drum kit, or and you're not the main focus point. But if you are alone, you're the main focus point, and everyone looks at you, and every mistake you do is back to you. So this is really you need a lot of guts and big balls to do it. We're back to the big note. He has the biggest note.
Who's got the biggest note? He's given me permission for me to do the same thing, because in a very subtle way, because like I'm not worried about if I am not doing it, because I naturally want to be that way too. And as a singer, I've only have so many things I have to make the mic work. But in any case, it's been really cool, because we both know neither one of us is shy about trying to be performers. We're both trying to figure out what are we going to do for the stage, so that we don't.
This is what I said to you. You're both good performers. And this will be your strength, because I think people will go to your. Your music is good, don't get me wrong, but the live shows will be what sets you apart, because this is what the people want to see, and you bring your energy, and you like you said, it takes so much guts to stand there in front of them, and so people sometimes don't have any idea what it really means to be a good performer. That everyone has a little bit stage fright and stuff, and for why is he performing so badly, or why he should just do it. Just do it once, I mean, maybe they remember in the school being in front of doing a spelling bee or whatever, how frightening this is. And this is grown-up men who throw stuff at you if you don't perform well, And this is not like, little girls or something, It's not, it's quite a level.
But you got to admit, though, like, here's the thing. Like, it's definitely a calling, because I know when I first performed for Fleischkrieg, when we first did our show, I remember walking off that stage feeling this is exactly what I was meant to do on this planet. Like, I felt like I was able to get into a space on that stage where I was really comfortable. Now, my only issue really is that I'm very self-conscious about making sure that I sing well. But I'm not self-conscious about being up there. I'm more self-conscious like, can I hit the note, right? But the beauty of like performing like that is like, for the first time in my life, it's okay to be a weirdo. It's okay to be,
and you get celebrated to be a weirdo.
You get celebrated to be the weirdo for once.
Exactly.
Like instead of being the guy that puts on the tie and has to play the role, which is fine. Like, I finally get a chance to be a fucking weirdo, and people want me to do it. Nobody wants to see you fail on stage. Nobody pays tickets to see you be, a mess. They want to see you be the weirdo. So it's like now you get to be that guy without
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's a beautiful feeling, really, once you've experienced it, and that's what I'm trying to share right now. It's like
it's a lot of freedom. You can live out your all the things, but in.
And people celebrate it because they have the same things in them. They're like, oh, finally someone's doing it. Like
it's a drug.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it is. and it's hard to get down. Once you're back from a tour or something, and you had every evening people were cheering it, and then you come home and. Woof, it's really tough.
Can you please fill the dishwasher? Can you do the laundry?
I feel like it wasn't a lie. The nice thing about it is like all those things you've gone through your life and experienced, and you try to articulate and share with people. When I was on stage and the times that we perform, like I don't feel like I'm lying. I feel like I'm. This is me. This is what I do. And it's a really cool thing, and I really hope we all get to keep doing it. But I feel stage fright and I feel nerves. But the only real fright I have is, am I going to fake it? Like I want to. My thing is like, am I going to be really in the moment or not? It's like acting's the same way. As a theater actor, you know that.
I think in a way, I can only talk from my perspective, of course. In the beginning, you're afraid, or I'm talking about me now. I'm afraid, and I'm like you. I hit the right notes, is every technical thing there and stuff. The microphone work and whatever. And when you kind of fake it for a few seconds or minutes in the beginning, because you don't feel like the biggest man in the world, and you don't feel like that because you're afraid, but then you get into it, and then it's just a jump start, it's like the spark plug, you need to kind of prop yourself up, and so you're faking it for a little bit, for a few minutes maybe, and then the best thing is when you see the audience and they're coming back, and then you feed, and when it's getting bigger. I derailed plays, acting plays, because I was feeding so much on the audience. I was kind of playing every other actor on the wall, like we say in Germany, because I was so big on stage, because I was feeding on this stuff, and so I kind of toned down a lot, and now I'm the opposite. I mean, you saw my performance with for the Apocalypse 2. I'm more down, and more like
that's you down. Wow. Choking the cars.
The usual thing I do in my daily life, and
as you said, a little German playfulness.
Playfulness. Yeah. No, you got this right. No, but what I mean is, what I said to your the full Folley, but sometimes your eyes is just the thing. You don't need. I don't need to jump around on stage to fill the room, and this is I can be there and. I just sing, and I am. You be. You have you kind of expand your aura, and you can feel it that you fill the room. And this is what I said about Thomas, where I was really like, man, this is so gutsy. This is so hardcore to go on stage just with a guitar and doing it. And filling the room and filling the space. Yesterday, I was talking with a band from Gothenburg, from Sweden, Gothenburg, and they are inspired by Guns N' Roses and stuff. And what I said, we were talking about then, is I really like, and you both like Rammstein, and they have a big show and whatever, it's great, and they're very well known for their big shows. But a band like Guns N' Roses, taking old Guns N' Roses and whatever, they filled arenas with just the guys, and they were not doing a big, pyrotechnical stuff, and they filled the stage, and this is what I see with you guys as well, that you have this persona, and you don't need to fake it. Maybe like I said in the beginning, you fake it, you have a spark plug a little bit, but then you put out one. Because I think, Richard, we talked about it in our initial talk, everyone has a lot of different personas, There is the lover, there is the husband, there is the, the filmmaker and stuff. You have different hats on at different times. And on stage, where you can let out the beast, you can let out the all the repressed thing that you cannot let out, and people will love you for it. You know, I had this as I was doing my medieval sword fighting stuff, you know, where I had shows, stunt shows, and people, I would kind of be abusive and be mean to people, but they would love it, you know, and so it was part of the act, and this is kind of really. Anyway, this is like a drug, like Thomas said. It's really tough to get down and then coming home and saying, "Oh, honey, can you bring in the newspaper and stuff?" And you kind of doing normal things. You have to adjust a little bit. You know, it's kind of from a big high to not a low, but to a normal. This is takes some time.
I think what it is that, okay, so human beings have all of these roles that we play. We have the roles of survival, like how do you just get through your day? How do you take care of your parents? How do you take care of your kids? How do you be a good lover? But the thing is, music is there's something about music that is a conduit between this world and the next one. That's how I view it, where our souls really reside. And I think certain people are tasked with the ability or the opportunity to like access that for everybody. And that's what musicians are. Musicians are like gatekeepers. They're sort of gatekeepers to this other world. It's almost like the way shamans used to interact. In fact, that's exactly how shamans used to interact.
That's a really good point. You know, especially in our time today, where the religion is on the back decline, and I like it. I like that. You know, religious, organized religion. I'm not into, but. What we have, and we're circling back to live shows, and what your strength. This is like your communion, your community. You can dance together. You can feel the other bodies around you. You know, you have you can smell the sweat and all these things. And this is like a communion. It is a community, and people dance together and they can let out things. This is the catharsis, or is it the right word?
Catharsis.
Catharsis. You know, but you have with chanting and you know, kind of letting things out and get in the ring and dance and until you let your demons out and you let them out in a controlled way without hurting anyone. And this is a catharsis. This is kind of a cleansing event. You know, I don't want to overstate things, but this is one of the reasons I think live shows are so important and will be around forever, because people can dance and people can just let it out without drugs or with drugs, but I don't care, you know, but just being in this communion with other people and doing the same thing with them. That's I mean,
you tend to like people tend to overlook it. Like it's kind of fascinating when you break it down. Like, why do people dance? Like, what is it that's driving?
It has no purpose. It has no, you know, like if you Darwinian, it means nothing. But I mean, you can attract a mate or whatever. So it has a Darwinian thing, but it also it cleanses your soul. You know, it's kind of it's good for you. It's good for your mental health.
Yeah, it really is. And every society, every indigenous society has. So one thing that I used to tell people about karaoke, they used to laugh. Oh, karaoke's so stupid. I'm like, well, where else in Western society, besides live shows, do you get a chance to come together, get drunk, and sing songs? If you look at Aborigines in Australia or Native Americans, what are they doing? They're beating the drum and they're dancing and singing. So every culture has always had to use music as a physical medium to connect their souls and their bodies.
And you know, karaoke comes from Japan, and Japan is one of the most, from my view, most repressed culture.
Yes.
So they let loose, and then again they have the kinky sex stuff. You know,
exactly.
you can buy underwear on a automated machine. You know, on a vending machine and stuff. Used underwear, of course. And
when I was walking the streets of Japan and just seeing freaking magazines of porn right on the sidewalk.
You want to hear something funny? It's called Paris syndrome. So I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but Florence syndrome exists. Florence, Italy, when people back in the Middle Ages would go to Florence, they would have nervous breakdowns because they were overwhelmed by the sight of so much medieval art and fantastic art, right? So they'd never seen it before, so they would have nervous breakdowns. Then there's Jerusalem syndrome, which is people going to Jerusalem and being overwhelmed by the religious iconography, and then their psyches break down, and they start becoming street preachers. And the Jewish and the Israelis
send those people back to America and they're fine. Here's the thing. That's the cure. Get them out of Israel as soon as possible. The Japanese, because you're saying a lot of them are very repressed, they're not allowed to show public displays of emotion, that kind of stuff. They build up in their minds that going to France is going to be this opportunity for them to have this major romantic discovery, right? Or romantic adventure. But the problem is they never met the French. So the Japanese go to France, and the Japanese are the most repressed. The French are the most outspoken. And they tell you exactly what they think, right? So, yeah. So they all of a sudden they butt heads with the reality in France, and apparently a lot of Japanese have nervous breakdowns there because they go there thinking everything's going to be lovey-dovey, it's going to be great, and then the French are like, I don't know, you know, like screw you.
Merde alors, merde alors.
So, but I really do think that, without overstating it, like you're saying, that you get there's a great opportunity as a singer or as a musician to it's hard. Like I get nervous and all that kind of stuff, but there's moments where you hit it. You just get into the moment. You're doing you, however the best you can do you, and that's your stage, that's your moment, and then you're doing your job in nature to provide like this, you know, opportunity.
And what I wanted to ask you was, and I personally like having this stage fright. I think I would miss something. You know, I'm not really afraid. You know, I talk with a lot of different people, but this is here from the comfort of my home. So, but I'm always a little bit nervous because I never know them. You know, I mean, with you it's different. I know you now, but most of the time I meet them for the first time and I don't know how things will go. So I'm a little bit nervous. But what I wanted to say is I like it. I think I would miss it if there would be not the 5 minutes before you go on stage, if you, because when it's kind of like when it's like a job, you know. I have a lot of my former acting class members who are now real actors. Just recently, I found someone. I usually don't watch TV anymore, but I watched TV as I was with friends in Mallorca in Spain for the first time. I was in Spain, and the TV was on, and I know this guy, and it was one of my acting buddies, and so and it's really cool, and I like it, and I'm really happy for him, but for me it was like, if this becomes a job and I have to be on the dot like this, and you know, I could be, but then it would take away a little bit the enjoyment of finding your role and getting because when it's like a profession, you see what I'm talking about. It's a little bit like when you would do music as a job, then like, okay, you know, it's in 3 weeks we have the next album ready and we need 3 more songs, let's just do something, and you know, when it becomes a task, a routine and something, but now you have no higher ups who tell you what you have to do, so you are free to explore and you know, and I didn't know, and you know, I think with this you lose your freedom a little bit, you know, and the enjoyment of doing it. So I mean, I would, if you ask me, you know, to be in your next Hollywood blockbuster, I would maybe say maybe. No, I would say yes.
See if we can get you a good hotel.
I want to be a fucking Nazi who gets shot or something. You know, I always wanted to be playing a Nazi in an Indiana Jones movie or something.
You would totally be like you could easily play off like a Scotsman is a kilt.
Yeah, you would be a good Scottish guy.
It's true. It's true too. You know, I have this reddish glow, and if my beard is a little bit longer,
Scottish, Viking, one of those guys.
So it's true too.
It's true too.
You're right. You're right.
I'm right. If I can, I want to change the subject a little bit.
Of course, yeah.
This is one of the things that I'll say, being in this band and also interacting in social media for the last 6 months pretty heavily, is what would you say as a German, the perception of an American band with a German name, a German album title, like having that stuff? Like, do you have like any type of like in the States, we'd refer to it as like being a poser or someone that's faking it. But like we've had a few people from like Instagram and stuff that they message us like, okay, are you a German band or are you American? Like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what's going on here? And also, like, I mean, it also doesn't help that it's not easy being in the States trying to explain our name is Fleischkrieg, but we have to spell it for them in a very weird way. And like, okay, so I'm not the only one that doesn't know how to spell this right. Like, what's going on here? So from your perspective, and I guess how do you think an American band using German words and aesthetics, like the authenticity of it? Like, what's your perspective?
Okay, this is of course a little bit tough because I'm involved a little bit, so I cannot really be, I cannot be objective. I cannot be objective, but honestly, for me, I like it because I mean, okay, I have to explain a little bit. I'm listening to a lot of music, and I come across, there is a Russian cover band who covered some Rammstein songs, and we sang it in German, and some from South America who did some German stuff, and I'm like in a way I'm really grateful for Rammstein to kind of giving the world something to think about Germany besides World War II or World War I and II, and so it makes me proud. I mean, proud in a good way. Not like okay, I have nothing to do with it and something, but I admire it. I like it, and we're talking in English, and English is of course for me my second language, and I learned Russian, and I really love Spanish, and I like French, and so I know. What I want to say is I know how tough it is to sing or to speak in a different language, and so I always I like it. You try your best. As I'm German, I can clearly hear that you are not German and that you are mispronouncing things. But this is the same with a Russian band or some. We kind of slip things in where we cannot help it to pronounce it differently because they have a different alphabet as well. So. I like it because it shows me that you really like it, like the music so much. You're so inspired that you're trying your best to assimilate it, to make it your own, and to make your interpretation in it. So I'm absolutely for it, and I don't think you are a poser. You just found something that you really love, and you're trying to make it as good, or you're trying to get as close to it as you can in your means. So I don't think I personally, but I'm not really objective here.
No, but you're German.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, and I mean, you were one of the first Germans that interacted with us in some fashion or another. So I guess there's some aspect of what you were like.
I think as long as I don't believe in chasing public opinion, but I also don't believe in like doing things that just piss people off for no reason.
Right.
So
Yeah, exactly.
I'd look at it like I would love to think that most people appreciate that we just really loved what those German bands were doing back in the day, because that's how I look at it. Like
exactly.
I was trying to figure out what is it that I want to do, when I first started Fleischkrieg, and I kept running across Rammstein. I kept running across Die Krups. Die Krups was one of the first bands I ever really loved, and they were the Germans just have always had this love affair with synths and metal that no other culture really embraced the same way. And they celebrate it in a really big way that Americans don't, and no other culture really does. So that's what I learned over the time of me listening to music. Like, I like Depeche Mode and I like synth pop, but I really like metal. But I don't want to just listen to metal. I want to listen to like synths and metal.
Exactly.
And the only real bands that have ever done anything and really gone anywhere with that have typically been German bands. There's Ministry and there's other bands like that, but the Germans were the one. And of course, the Germans also do the big theatrical shit too, which I think is a lot of fun. Like it's a lot of. So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, well, we're gonna be an American band that's gonna have a little fun with this.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to see.
And I think this is absolutely. There is this. I don't can get it together really right, but. Imitation is the best thing of flattering or something.
That's right.
And so I think this is absolutely fine. And in a way, you can kind of reverse the tables and see that all the German bands who sing in English kind of imitating the Americans, and nobody ever asks them, are you a German band or an American band? You know, why do you try to imitate the other bands so much and stuff? Nobody's asking that.
Scorpions. Why aren't you saying Scorpions in German?
Warum sagt ihr nicht Skorpione? Ihr seid die Skorpione. Warum sagt ihr das nicht? Hm? Ihr seid doch eine deutsche Band. Ihr müsst Deutsch singen. Genau. Der Wind der Veränderung. You know, whistle it in German, not in American. So, this is not right. This is not right. I don't approve of that. So, yeah.
Well, that's funny.
I fucking love it.
I also had this strange sort of I have this strange obsession with David Hasselhoff.
Because, you know, I love him. I love him. It's kind of
good.
I don't know him, but I love him. I love him.
You know, he's big in Germany.
Yeah, he brought the wall down. He sang it down. He sang it down. I'm looking for freedom.
And that gave me confidence that if you can just love what you do and sell it the way that you do it, there's people out there that appreciate that. And like in America, you know, America has a lot of very opinionated people that are just poopy pants sometimes about stuff. They don't know how to like let it go. Whereas I feel like
I think that's a good reason you can get, or a good thing you can get from Hasselhoff. He doesn't fucking care. He just does it. You know, he does what he wants to do, and this is, at the end, this is what matters. You know, because, you know, we can go very philosophical right now. We're all gonna die, and the only thing that counts is what you did before you died. And if you always like, oh no, I don't know what people will think, and people will might be laugh at me or something, so I don't try something, and because I don't want to, you know, egg somebody on or so, you know. When what is this is like Plato would say, this is the unconsidered life. You know, this is the life you always think you could do, but you never did, and you only know what you do if you what you can do if you do it. So this means you can fail, but if you have not ever started anything, you can never fail, but it is a failure in itself because you never tried anything. This is back to, you know, where I said, Thomas and you, both of you, it takes guts to be on stage, you know, and nobody knows you. Nobody is coming for you because it's your first gig. You know, nobody is there. Oh, I'm here to see Seraphim, or I'm here to see Fleischkrieg. No, but who are these guys? What are these jokers? You know, now we're coming up, and there's not even a real band. So what can we do? And then you sell it to them. You know, but you did it. You know, and you weathered the storm. You know, I don't want to. You know, I don't have to, there's a better word for it, but I don't have to kiss your ass. I don't know, there's nicer words. I don't have to suck up to you or something. But this is really what I think, you know, back to what we said already, we are doing things, you know, and you can criticize us for that, and there will be bad comments and whatever. But hey, but at least we did something. You know, you don't have anything out.
Yeah, and I've learned that over time, if you actually are pretty good at something, you'll get better at it the more you do it. That's something that people forget about. Like they judge themselves based off their first performance or their second performance. But the truth is like if you just keep getting up on stage or you keep putting stuff out, in time you just learn. Like I learned so much in the last year of making music because I had to sit here and try to learn the software. You know, like you just naturally get better at things. If you do the work.
Exactly. And this is I can understand it today, you know, and I'm also I'm into this fallacy a little bit as well. But people need to start out, and you always, you benchmark yourself against all the big acts and all the, the well accomplished who did it for 20 years and who has lots of money for cool videos and good music production and stuff. I know all this, so, and I'm also like a radio DJ. Sometimes I'm kind of, oh man, this is such a bad mix, so I don't want to listen to it anymore.
Right.
So I'm also, but the thing is, you should always benchmark yourself on yourself. See where you have been a year ago and see where you are now and what you have done. And look, we talked about a year ago, and now we did a successful tour, and we are planning the stadium tour in Germany, and so things are looking up, and like I said with Manifestive, they are nobody's. I just checked them recently again on Spotify. They have like 70 followers or something on Spotify. I'm pretty sure once we have played with Ministry, there will be one or two more, maybe, and so
they're such a unique group,
and they are so nice people.
Like watching, we were all watching all the openers. I purposefully did not watch any of those pre-recordings until the time of the show, including like Rabbit Junk, Electronic Substance Abuse, Finite Automata, Manifestive. Like, I purposefully did not watch them, and because I wanted to have that experience as a touring band, seeing a band perform for the very first time, opening for me, Manifestive, it was just so interesting. Like, I'd seen their videos and I knew their shtick. Man, the Manifestive group, they're on a completely different level. I talked with the guitar player, Paragraph.
Yeah, Paragraph
Taylor. Interesting dude. I've not had a conversation like that before where I talked about freeze-dried strawberries in the middle of nowhere, Texas. But it was interesting aspect. But yeah,
you just never. I mean, the thing is, like, you just have to go out and figure out where your star shines, and you make the best of it. And then if you're thinking about results ahead of time, it doesn't make any sense.
Exactly,
but like,
and don't listen to the naysayers and stuff, because there's a lot of I might have to kind of be a little bit more precise, because sometimes I get music as a DJ where I really think, don't you have any friends who can tell you, who love you and tell you that you cannot sing, or didn't you show it to your mama or something? Because sometimes you have people with a lot of ego, and today you can buy collaborations left and right. I had one guy on okay, I think I can talk about it now, because the talk will never appear on my video podcast, and he bought himself in with some big stars and did some collaborations, and I'm pretty sure he paid a hefty money for it. So he got 50,000 plays on Spotify in one day or something, but it doesn't mean anything. It's this empty shit, because it will be one in German we say a straw fire. It will be very fast, and then it will be over. And this is exactly where we are. We are all a little bit older here, but we love what we're doing, and we are here for the long term. We're not like, okay, I need 1,000 followers in 3 weeks, and otherwise I'm gonna stop it. No, I don't care. We're gonna do it anyway, and if you get people along the lines, fine. If not, who cares? We're back to this philosophical thing. What I said. We're doing what we love, and so it doesn't take away. I mean, it's kind of our enjoyment, and so you would do it if you have 5,000 fans, or you would do it if you have 100 fans, and it's it's just a number. It's just a metric. Who cares?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Richard has watched me perform to probably the skimpiest crowds ever.
Some big crowd. You had a pretty good crowd at Chop Suey.
Yeah, I played a show opening for Alien Weaponry. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're a band from New Zealand. It's a bunch of kids. They're fairly popular in the States, and it was almost a sold out show.
Yeah.
And I mean that was pretty good. There was also a show I played in a monumental location in Seattle called the Central Saloon. Like Nirvana, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam have all played there. I played for about 5 people, and I did not give a fuck. There were 2 drunk girls that were just kind of hanging out, and the thing is I made it a point that I was going to interact with them. I didn't care if I was playing for 2 people or 2,000 people.
Exactly, and you shouldn't. This is kind of professionalism.
Exactly, and for those 2 ladies, it was memorable for them. So
I bet.
Richard could probably tell a little bit better than I could because I was in a different space.
You were in a different space. But it was a good space for everybody to be in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we did this whole thing with the Apocalypse tour where we had to pre-record stuff as if we were in, an actual live setting. And like once we hit record and we started performing, I didn't give a shit. Like I was performing as if I was performing in front of thousands of people and did not care.
And this is what you should do, because I think it's also taking your audience seriously, because because not people show up to your first shows, what do you expect? We're back to this expectancy culture, and it's like, oh, I have like a million friends on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, and now we are only 10. Oh, I'm not going to give my best because I'm more worth than that. So. But these 5 guys who show up, they paid for it. And why would you let them down? Because these 5 guys, just be honest here, they have friends. And they tell their friends, oh man, this was an empty venue, but he gave it all. And it was such a cool show. And then word spreads. And, this is just the thing it is.
And even what you said there, like these are, 5 people that they spent their hard-earned money to come in, even if it was a shithole bar, they spent money to come in to a show. Why would you, like you said, why would you let them down? Why? I mean, no matter how disappointed you are, you give it your all. You give it your 110% with the people that are there.
Exactly. I mean, I think it's an opportunity for you to do what you love to do and share it with other people. That's a brilliant gift in life. Like I've had so many shitty jobs in my life. I've had so many dead ends show up, and I thought this was it. So to be in a space where you're able to perform in a band and have an opportunity to connect with people like that is fucking pretty cool. Like if so whatever, like enjoy it, make the most of it. And one thing leads to another. Like my whole life is just full of moments where I thought this was going to go nowhere, but because I showed up and because I did my best, down the line, something happened because of that I couldn't foresee, that I didn't think was going to happen.
And this is exactly what I said. You create opportunities because you go out there and do something. If you just sit on your butt and go through Netflix the whole day, yes, it's cool. You watched whole Netflix, cool. Yeah. Well, but that's it. When if you're on your deathbed and you're gonna ask, and what do you remember from your life? You're like, oh, I watched the whole Netflix thing. This is really my accomplishment, what I did, So people will always remember on their deathbed, the things, the interactions they had with real people, they miss their family. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So, and this is something real, something worthwhile to pursue. Guys, talking about pursuing, this is so far the longest podcast I ever had. We are nearing the 3-hour mark.
Wow.
we can go on, but I also want to give you an out because we wanted to talk about the next video already. But I think we have enough stuff to talk about for a new talk next time, and we maybe take it just for 2 hours or something. I don't know. For you, I always will find time, so don't worry about that. But maybe we gonna wrap it up. So just I mean,
3 hours
it's very enjoyable, and I know my Joe Rogan did one like 5 hours or something, but we don't need to. I'm not Joe Rogan.
I mean, 3 hours is pretty. I mean, we could save it for the next one, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I think it's also talking about algorithm. It's better for the algorithm to have another one and another one and another. This is all what I'm thinking about.
Planning something fairly decent in early June. Yeah, we're going to start doing shooting for Reach in June. We're hoping to have some people here. From the new
of course,
Apocalypse.
I'm gonna fly in. I'm just get organize everything and a 5-star hotel is enough for me. It doesn't need to be a stretch limo, but a Humvee.
Hotel, but Richard's got room in his bed. We have a pool. It'll be warm. I'm just saying. If you want to come out here, like you fly out, we'll find you a place to sleep.
There's a guitar over there in that corner, and some weights.
It's good. It's good. I can
dumbbells.
I can see them. Yeah, I can do something. Oh man, I look like shit.
But we've got we're planning on having Nuda and
a couple people from the Apocalypse tour.
Yeah, the Apocalypse tour. Nuda, we're hoping that she and her boyfriend will be down. We're working on Ticker from Cryptamnesia. He's supposed to be down here as well. Work on a couple other people, but yeah, we're working on Reach next. But to kind of button this up, the one thing I did want to call out, the Lord of the Lost inspiration. So as you may have noticed in the new Apocalypse tour, Nuda did an intro into Reach. So she kind of had like a little instrumental thing that she did prior to us performing the song Reach. We actually have an idea very similar to Lord of the Lost, what they did with Raining Stars, where they brought these DJs in and they did like an intro outro thing for their stuff. Nuda is actually writing an intro and outro to our song Reach, and we're going to film a music video for the whole thing.
Cool.
So the music video is actually going to be a joint music video between Fleischkrieg and Nuda. And so we're trying to get her to come down here for that, to kind of do all of that stuff. And
that'll be cool.
It'll be a good thing. And then one of the things we've been talking about when we actually perform live is Nuda come up and performing a couple of songs with us with that. So
cool. Yeah, I think so I would already say it as once you have let's say filmed the video and you're in post-production, then we set up another call and we talk again, because I think we have enough stuff to talk for a few hours, and then we go into the next video and see what's gonna happen there, and and then we talk again, because I think we have not covered everything, but it was a lot of fun. Thank you for your time. I will send you all the links once I'm done uploading, because I also will use it as a podcast later on, as you know. Okay, so now I will go for having breakfast, and you might go watch Netflix. I think there's a lot of stuff on there you haven't seen yet, because you're doing too much other things. Watch Netflix. That's important. Then you can talk with other people of the latest show. This is really what you want to talk about. That's serious stuff. Anyway, have a great evening, and it was nice seeing you again. next time, next time we're going to talk about the next video, Reach. But I hope when, the next time you'll be here on tour in Germany, of course, and when we see each other live. Yeah, right on. Okay, so have a good evening, and I send you all the links later.
Okay. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Okay, good night.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bis bald.